Good news, my friends. God has struck down another Israel First Democrat for crimes against humanity and also for being 80 years old. Took long enough. What's up? Early? 1 hour 55 late, but I had work to do. Who? The one, the only Representative David Scott. But it was his turn to chair a commission? Yep. Tragic. Oh, right, we had game capture up. One sec. Game capture, turn off. There you go. Boop, boop, boop. Nope, that's not right. There we go. We made it happen, folks. Teamwork makes the dream work. Rep David Scott, a huge piece of shit, was running for re-election despite the fact that he's old and ailing, has been known to be old and ailing for years and years and years. Obviously Israel first, you know, as one. Seriously, take a look at this guy's Wikipedia. I fucking hate this guy. I'm glad he's dead. Early career. In 1978, Scott founded Danemark Advertising, name of his two daughters, Dana and Marcy, probably, which places billboards and other forms of advertising in the Atlanta area. It was reported the business owed more than 150 grand in back taxes and penalties. Scott's campaign paid the company more than $500,000 from 2002 to 2010. So he paid campaign funds directly back to his own company. He paid his wife, two daughters, and son-in-law tens of thousands of dollars for campaign work, such as fundraising and canvassing. Cool, cool, cool. Let's take a look at his positions. Scott supported two failed pieces of legislation in 2004 and 2006 to establish a constitutional amendment banning same-sex marriage. Neat. He opposed the JCPOA, the nuclear deal with Iran, saying, it's a good deal for Iran, for Russia, China, and probably Hezbollah, but it is definitely not a good deal for Israel. Oh. Or for the United States or our allies, especially Jordan or Saudi Arabia. He was one of only 5 House Democrats who voted to allow the U.S. to continue selling arms to Saudi Arabia and to support the Saudi-led intervention in Yemen. Yippee! I fucking love Israel. Politico reported in 2022 Scott's speech was increasingly halting. He had trouble at times focusing on a topic, and he seemed to be forgetting prior conversations. As of 2024, Scott often read from a script and had trouble carrying out conversations about food and agricultural policy that he oversaw, causing alarm among his Democratic colleagues in Congress. Democrats are totally fine with this. The Democratic establishment seems to take no issue with this. There's no press from the DNC to replace these people. One lawmaker remarked, quote, I haven't met a member of Congress who isn't concerned, end quote, with Scott's ability to carry out his duties as then-ranking member of the House Agriculture Committee. Party leadership subsequently removed Scott from that position. Cool. Not from, like, Congress? In late 2024, Scott screamed at a Politico reporter who photographed him arriving at the Capitol in a wheelchair. Scott faced criticism from fellow Democrats due to his age. He would have been 81 years old at the beginning of the next Congress, as well as reports from his voting record revealed that he had not cast a single vote in the last 6 election cycles, including the 2024 U.S. presidential election. Remember when fuck, what's his name? Why am I thinking David Holt? David Hogg? Remember when Hogg was interested in trying to get the DNC to press for replacing these useless do-nothing Democrats, and he got forced out of the role for it? Do you ignore YouTube comments because it doesn't make money? You mean like YouTube comments on my videos? Or do you mean YouTube chat? What? I ignore YouTube comments for a variety of reasons. But I look at YouTube chat pretty much every stream. It's so blackpilling that 9 out of 10 congressmen that died since 2022 were Democrats. It's literally always their turn, man. Yeah, seriously. Fucking pensioners program, man. Anyway, APAC Tracker posted this because there is a candidate running for GA13 who's not pro-genocide, and naturally people are mad over it. This is fucking disgusting. No wonder why minorities don't vote for progressives. You want a politician in office who's effective and not evil and corrupt? How dare you? Mandatory 50 days of silence for the decrepit, ailing piece of shit waste of a fucking congressional seat that has been failing to represent his constituency for decades now. Everyone, be respectful. Fucking hate these people, man. Everyone dies. It's not that special. Not me. Death creates another vacancy. Should have done something about that then. Not like it matters. Republicans still have the House right now. A pioneering black lawmaker, yeah? You don't have health insurance? I don't have health insurance because I'm that healthy. I really do hate this guy, though. Breaking. Ancient piece of shit Dem congressman dies. Nobody cares. Great. Did you see the Stop Killing Games initiatives doing kind of well in Europe? I haven't been paying attention to that in a while. I don't know what the hell you're on about. I don't know what the hell you're on about. Stop killing games? Start killing gamers. Think about it. Think about it. Have you seen your subreddit? No, what now? What now? I check the sub pretty frequently. What now? What now? Okay, let's find out what we're mad about today. Real quick. As someone who's actually from Lebanon, Vosh needs to up their education about Lebanon, Hezbollah, or zip it. Last couple of segments, Vosh talked about Lebanon. It's more specifically Hezbollah. Maybe want to bang my head against the wall. They're not an Iranian IRGC proxy, acting in their own interest, majority of Lebanese people. I'm so sorry. I stupid like Iran. No, like, fuck, are you retarded? No, from all the... Wait, I can't make fun of them for their bad English because they're in Lebanon. Fuck. It seems like a misunderstanding of what I said. Hezbollah became a liability on our people and cause and an asset for Israel? How can you possibly believe that? How can you believe that when Hezbollah is literally the only group in Lebanon capable of resisting Israel? By what possible... Like, Israel has tried and failed to invade Lebanon. How... I think they mean optics-wise. Okay, that's like saying the French resistance was a Nazi asset because it furthered the Nazi rhetoric that they had to crack down on internal dissidents. Hezbollah serves as another reason for invasion. My brother in Christ, Hezbollah was formed because Israel invaded Lebanon. They want to invade Lebanon for ethnic, religious reasons. Like, what do you mean? What, like, we're doing... What are we doing here? It's like saying that Ukraine rearming was like a bait for Russia to invade them or something. Here, I'll read the actual thing. Iranian theocracy, some of these So why is leftism supposed to support one imperialist power over the other? Lesser of two evils, my ass. Hezbollah and the whole acts of resistance, both strategic stupidity, religious delusions, godly victory. It's a little bit hard to parse this. Yeah, it's difficult. It seems like this person just doesn't like Hezbollah, which is fine. I don't know if that has to do with my position though. I'll read it in my own time, I guess. About the Rape Academy segment and the misinfo spread about, it was wild to me a lot of lefty/liberal influencers, some of whom I genuinely looked up to, ran with the idea the Motherless website wasn't a general porn website, or that actually 63 million men just attended a Rape Academy. The rhetoric on this one was pretty crazy, but also keep in mind, it wasn't lefty liberal influencers, the mainstream media. Like, we watched news segments from actual reporters claiming that there were tens of millions of people attending a Rape Academy. So, like, not to say they shouldn't have run with the misinformation there, but the heart of the misinfo was definitely not from the libs or lefties online. It was a highly sensationalist claim published by legitimate news organizations, at least to the extent that any news organization can be legitimate these days. Reason the bridges between Vosh, Hassan, and Destiny will never be repaired. Is there a reason you and Hassan don't interact? Yeah, one time we were walking past each other at TwitchCon, and I shoulder checked him, and he stumbled, and he looked like a bitch. He was super embarrassed about it. Everyone could tell because his Twitch live feed, his like live stream camera, it like shuddered, you know? But ever since then, it's been like, it's, and I understand it, you know? Yeah, I get it. I believe that without question. I choose to believe this, yeah? I've never been to TwitchCon. It's true, though. It did happen at TwitchCon. Why don't we like Destiny? I was walking past him at TwitchCon, and I shoulder checked him, and ever since then, things haven't been the same. Harris's national security advisor wrote a whole book on why intervening in Iran is a horrible idea. No, we're still doing this. Ah! Ah! We're never going to be free. The crazy thing to me is that, like, some people's arguments against me have actually taken the form of them saying, well, have you noticed that Harris is condemning Trump's war in Iran? Like, oh, wow, that's crazy, man. Really? A politician condemns a bad thing when their opposition does it, but they would do the same themselves? When has that ever happened? Why are these people so bad faith, man? Yeah, but did you see that clip of the guy who was like an energy security advisor to Biden saying that the first targeted strike against Iran a year ago may have been justified? It was in the tabs, dude. Why are people so unwilling to, hold on, I have to check the post history. No, sorry, it's a homegrown retard. Why are people so, oh my God, this person won't stop posting. This is all from the past 25, 6, 7 hours. 6, 7. Holy shit. I'm not going to convince these people, man. I can't, like, warp into a different timeline to prove that, you know, Harris would have been hawkish on Iran as well. And I feel like the bar is really moved, too, where, like, the defense a lot of these people provide is, like, well, Harris would have done this less stupid or something. Is that the win for you? Like, if Kamala Harris had done strikes against Iran, but it hadn't led to a global energy crisis, would that be like a victory for you? Like, oh, she furthered the continued state of instability in the Middle East, getting us involved in a conflict for Israel, but like she did it more competently. Would that be like a win? I don't get it, man. For those libs, yeah. I feel like that's the implicit point for a lot of them. See, we are scolding the libs again. I mean, in fairness, man. In fairness. As always, progressive victory being based. Thank you, Dylan Burns. Announcement, PV endorsement process, TLDR, effective immediately. No candidates will receive any endorsement from PV during a primary unless they're committed to defending Ukraine against Russia's imperial occupation by providing humanitarian defense for Ukraine. That sounds good to me, yeah. Unfortunately, like, the big motivating animus lately has been anti-Israel, which has brought out a lot of attention from the, that section of the online left. But it's important to remember that Russia is basically just a big cold Israel, right? Yeah, Russia, or as I know it, like the northern Israel. You have to, you've lost the plot if you're like, no, I'm against Israel's deception, attempts to influence the American political process, ethno-nationalist land grabs and fascist government, but I'm in favor of Russia doing all of those things. Now, has Russia racked up the kill count that Israel has lately? I don't know. We don't really have clear numbers, but I think that any giant civilian kill count motivated by, fascist territorial acquisition and ethno-nationalism are probably pretty bad, in my opinion. Probably pretty bad, in my opinion, yeah. Russia's killed like 2 million Ukrainian. I don't think it's 2 million. I think it's a big number. 2 million would surprise me, but it's okay. Again, we don't have to compare two bad bitches. All right, I caught up in the Reddit. Hezbollah is hated in Lebanon, whereas Washington they aren't. Only a small number of Christians, Sunnis, Druze, mostly under 10-15%, support Hezbollah. 86 oppose direct conflict with Israel. Okay, but Hezbollah was created because Israel invaded. Israel invaded before Hezbollah existed. Only Shia Muslims, around 70%, support them. Okay. Percent of Lebanon Shia Muslims. About 30% of the population. The broader population is like 65 to 70% Muslim. Lebanon religion map. Aren't the Shia Muslims mostly in the parts of Lebanon that are controlled by Hezbollah anyway? Yeah. These areas down here, Shia Muslim. Well, I said that represent the interests of the people there. What? You got to be really careful when you say stuff, man. The point that I was making with Hezbollah was that they don't exist as a proxy of Iran in the sense that they wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Iran. Like, Israel invaded them. They are made up largely of Lebanese people operating in a otherwise pretty lawless area, defending themselves against Israeli occupation and, threats of future occupation. In that respect, they are a legitimate exercise of the regional interests of those people. A good contrast would be like the separatist campaign in the Donbass in Ukraine was almost entirely manufactured, right? Like you had like some legitimate separationist sentiment from the region, but overwhelmingly the base of support and the military backing for the 2014 invasion that was, disguised as like an internal revolt, was from Russia, right? It wasn't like that region did that on its own, whereas Lebanon very much didn't want to be invaded by Israel on its own. You get me. Most North Irish didn't like the IRA either. That's true. That's true. I think. I don't remember the last time I've Googled that information, but I think that's true, yeah. The IRA was not, like, super popular. Anyway, you say that. Sometimes people are like, you think Hezbollah is good. And I'm like, well, do I think it's better than Israel? Yes. Do I think it's good? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. The separatist campaign was not entirely manufactured. It was very highly manufactured. Like, there was a sentiment there, but the Donbass would have never, like, rebelled and created their own, like, microstate on their own. That was something like Russia had to completely front that, essentially. Whereas obviously, like, Israel invaded Lebanon, so. Guess it's just a matter of how astroturfed it is. I don't think the people of southern Lebanon had to be astroturfed that hard into the idea that it was bad for Israel to invade them. You know what I mean? Probably like more so in eastern Ukraine. In my opinion. What do I know? All right. Is anyone else mad at me on the Reddit? He has a habit of making broad sweeping statements about things that he doesn't know a lot about just based on his own intuition. Funnily enough, that itself is a broad sweeping statement. It's also like unfalsifiable because you could say this about literally anyone. It's not usually that useful. It's true that in the many topics we touch on stream, I don't engage with every single one of them with a degree of sort of scholastic expertise that you might get if you followed somebody who spoke exclusively on that subject. But you know, I stand by the statement I made. Can't even yap nowadays. Yeah, that's the problem, man. If you're someone like Northern Lion, you're just yapping about movies or whatever, no one's coming after you. That's probably not true. People come after him pretty often on his movie takes. Anyway, to get back to my point, Hezbollah is universally beloved, and nobody has a problem with them. What are your favorite movies? Fight Club. I think it's really deep and it says a lot about society. All right, let's move on. I know, Kizuwada, you already linked that. Facial recognition to be rolled out across UK after human rights challenge fails. Ah, fuck. That sucks. Minister says law-abiding citizens have nothing to fear. It's so cool, man. It's wonderful how many of the like fundamental arguments for liberalism, just broad liberal, like very basic Enlightenment liberalism, have failed, and now their architects and protectors have turned their backs on the concepts completely. You know? They still say the same stuff. Yeah, it's like they're so evil, man, because if you're even remotely familiar with, it's not even about being a liberal ideologically, it's that the argument of if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. This is one of the most basic boilerplate, like day one lessons you're supposed to learn about liberalism as a concept, which is that like the state needs to prove its intervention. You don't need to prove that its intervention is unnecessary. That's like, it's like very 101. Like a law is not created because you can't create an argument for why the government can't put that law in place. It's the government needs to create an argument for the law. The imposition has to be, it's the burden of proof is on them. This is like, again, so it predates liberalism. It's like Magna Carta shit, you know? It goes back, they had that shit carved out in the Code of Hammurabi or whatever. It goes back so far, but there are still people arguing unironically, law-abiding citizens have nothing to fear. Like, Jesus Christ, man. We are regressing deeply. We are. It's because, and you know, it's because you have to make an active, like, in favor argument for things. And nobody believes in liberalism, right? The liberals certainly don't. Are you against surveillance cameras? I'm against any kind of facial recognition in surveillance cameras. Yeah. And I'm also against surveillance cameras by and large in how they're used in public day to day. Like the UK has a lot of surveillance cameras. Per capita, I think it's the most in the world. They have a lot. Obviously, I'm not really against like there are some basic exceptions you can carve out. Like, oh, here is a license plate reading camera for red light detection. Even then, I think red light cameras, for the most part, cause more problems than they solve. But we'll just say, like, morally, I'm not really opposed to that. But that's not what this is for. This is about registering your face and adding it to a database, and the government having, like, unfettered access to everything about you, so that they can, you know, do this panoptical surveillance state bullshit. Why are you against it? Because I don't like the idea of the government or corporations, or really anyone, I guess, having a massive database of everyone in the country and where they are and what they're doing and what they buy and what they say. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't want the government recording anything, really, just on its own. Not what I say, not where I go, not what I do, not anything. What I buy at the supermarket, internet search history. If they want to get information on a person, they should have to get a warrant signed by a judge. Maybe I apologize. I thought this was like 101 stuff, but like, yeah, no, I think if the government wants to take a deep interest in you or surveil you in some way, a judge needs to sign off on it, and it needs to be part of a like specific integrated, you know, um, a legally vetted process. What's your response to the low IQ argument? Surveillance isn't bad if you're not a criminal. It's actually so IQ. I think you should just respond with like rock, I guess. You know, the government gets to fondle everyone's balls. You have nothing to fear unless your balls have like a sack of cocaine in them. It's ridiculous. The idea that the fact that people don't understand as a given that we have a right to privacy, to me, is just like a fundamental failure of, and it's because nobody's arguing for it, right? Over here in the United States, Democrats aren't really making day-to-day arguments for liberalism that way, for like privacy. You know what I mean? Nowadays, the politicians, they talk about, sometimes they get like an autistic special interest for like very specific edge case stuff, but by and large, man, privacy is fucking gone. Every corporation is recording you at all times. Your phone is always listening to you. All of your information is being logged all the time to be sold to advertisers. The government has everything. It's all illegal, but nobody cares. Like, it's done. You know, it's dead. It's all dead. So like, no one cares. So a lot of it is just that privacy is a very abstract thing, and a death of privacy is a very difficult to codify externality. It's really, really tough to make a voter like really care. It's kind of like how, you know, the right to vote, like enfranchisement, is really important, and people have fought and died for it. But the average citizen would trade it away for like $2,000 probably. Because, you know, it's valuable in the abstract, in a broader social sense, but interpersonally, like, how much does your specific vote matter to you? Probably not that much, right? You might care more about the 2,000. But it's happening everywhere, Masaigu, not just in the UK. It's happening everywhere. Nasty business. God, that's terrifying, man. Live facial recognition. You why at that point, why even tell me? Why even tell? Why even tell? Like, it's not like you can do anything about it. Why even let me know? The policing minister, Sarah Jones, said, I welcome today's ruling because there can be no true liberty when people live in fear of crime in their communities. It's like it's just V for Vendetta shit, man. It's like they're so illiberal that they are invoking the arguments that straw men make in liberal arguments for the things that they're arguing against. You know what I mean? Like, this character, Sarah Jones, would be like a stock character that an Enlightenment philosopher would point to and go, now do not listen to this temptress, this devil speaker. You know, this is the kind of shit Ben Franklin would be like, you just have to kill these guys. You know, and like those who would, you know, trade of their liberty for security deserve neither liberty nor security. Like, it's the founding fathers would be like, we're just gonna put you in a box, basically. Holy fuck, 5 messages in a row where people are adding me. What country should I move to escape this shit? I don't know, nor do I care. That's your business. But legit, do you have a better argument than Rock? I don't think that people who are willing to cede their privacy to the state as a matter of course, who think it's morally good for them to do so, I don't know how susceptible to arguments these people are. I think they might be a little bit, they're too naturally subservient. I think the people of Britain have always been very subservient. They're very deferential to authority. Um, I don't know why. It's just a cultural thing, but yeah, it's not great.
Good afternoon. This legal judgment is a significant and important victory for public safety. It confirms that the Met is right and acting lawfully to use the best modern technology to reduce crime.
The fundamental problem is people being afraid of crime, even though crime is down. I don't really know what crime is at in London or whatever in the United Kingdom relative to historical trends, but I'd be willing to bet that it's probably fine. It's probably fine, you know. Society is by and large pretty safe compared to, you know, the past.
And keep pace with the evolving threats that we face. Live facial recognition works, and it's one of the biggest breakthroughs for policing. It's actively removing thousands of dangerous and wanted offenders from London streets, including individuals who pose a serious and ongoing threat to our communities.
I'm unfamiliar with any sources to this, by the way. The idea that facial recognition technology, that like an AI database, is that effective in curbing crime. I've not seen any compelling evidence. This technology really isn't that old. It's pretty difficult to get a good longitudinal study going.
Including those wanted for the most serious offences such as rape, domestic violence and child sex offences. Our data shows that the technology is highly accurate and fair, and we've already made more than 2,100 arrests using it. Last year alone, more than 3 million faces walked past the cameras, cool, resulting in only 12 false alerts, none of which led to an arrest. Crucially, every alert is reviewed by trained officers before any action is taken. Today, the court has been clear. Our use of live facial recognition is lawful and supported by our strong safeguards. The judgment confirms that we are deploying the technology responsibly and with care. It shows that fairness, accuracy and accountability were part of our design from the beginning. It also recognises that we have strong oversight and strong safeguards in place. These include checks to ensure it's proportionate and that people's rights, such as the rights to privacy and freedom of expression, are protected in a way that does not breach the Human Rights Act. I would also add...
Did the population vote for this? No, of course not.
The public are firmly on our side. Around 80% of Londoners support the use of live facial recognition to keep them safe. Yet a small number of...
I would like to see how they cook the numbers on that. 80% seems extremely high. Then again, that is a very subservient population.
Campaign groups continue to argue that the police should be prevented from using such proven tools that help us catch paedophiles, rapists, violent criminals, and those wanted by the...
It's the exact same tactics that Republicans use to justify ICE, by the way. Like, every lover of tyranny does this, where they say, well, you know, ignore the fact that it seems weird that ICE can just stop vehicles with no prior cause and arrest people willy-nilly and disappear them and send them to different countries. You know, this is unlocking a tool the government can use to go after the pedophiles or whatever else they're so concerned with. But it's always an overreach. It never actually does what it's supposed to do. It's always an overreach. Even if it did what it was supposed to do, I would not support it, because like the whole point of this technology is not to just be 1% better at enforcing laws that already exist. The purposes of this technology is to open up entirely new pathways of human oppression. Like, here's a very obvious one, right? Live facial recognition scanning faces at a protest, compiling that information into a database, and then, oh, wow, you can't get a job now because you are blacklisted. You attended a labor protest. Not labor the party, labor like the action. You can't get a job now. You're on like a trouble list, essentially. AI is also very famously racially biased. It's true, but it's not my primary concern because these are flaws in the technology. Like, at the end of the day, Palantir or the UK government or whatever, they aren't selling it based on its technical inaccuracies. They're selling it based on its potential for future suppression, which is what we really need to be concerned about. In the United Kingdom, they're already arresting peaceful protesters for supporting, pro-Palestinian organizations, anti-Israel. We know why this technology is being rolled out. It's not to do a better job of enforcing existing laws. It's to open up new tools for enforcement, future laws, future concerns. I know, Masaiku, you already said that.
Courts. Their position is increasingly out of step with both public opinion.
Are Americans different? I feel like they would go for this. It's already happening in America.
And the realities of modern communities and modern policing. This isn't secret surveillance. Deployments are clearly signposted, highly visible, and the technology never replaces professional judgment. Trained officers assess alerts on the ground, and they make the decisions what action is necessary.
Every developed country is going to do this. It's really just a matter of time. They're all going to go down this path. They're all aware of the fact that people are losing their interest in and faith in liberal democracy. This is the long-term plan. If people can't be quelled by the pantomime or the theater of democratic participation, then you better find another way of keeping them in their place.
Live facial recognition technology is a key part of our determination to accelerate the use of smart policing tools to better protect London's communities and also to help us make the best use of our limited resources. It helps us catch more criminals more quickly, more precisely, and it saves officers time and ultimately protects Londoners. The courts have today confirmed our approach is lawful. And as I say, the public support its use. It works, it helps keep Londoners safe. The question is no longer whether we should use live facial recognition, it's why we would choose not to.
Exactly. See, the shifting of the burden of proof, right? The government doesn't need to make an argument for why they need to interfere with your life and invade your privacy. Now you have to make the argument for why they shouldn't. It's highly illiberal. Highly illiberal. It's the whole point. Whole point of the damn Enlightenment, man, was to shift this discussion. Liberal, like, it's crazy because, like, I feel like this era of neoliberalism is going to be brought to heel. Marx would have said this: internal contradictions, not external ones. Fascists are not going to defeat neoliberalism. They never could, because the neoliberals are much better at achieving the exact same goal, which is total state power. Neoliberalism, if it does collapse, will collapse under its own weight, because it has completely abandoned the principles that it is supposed to stand for.
Technology is advancing at record speed, and policing cannot afford to stand still. After all, criminals won't. Facial recognition is just one part of how we transform policing. Government and Parliament will want to carefully consider how they continue to enable and support our use of such technologies rather than risk over-regulation. These technologies are critical.
Yeah. Read from the prompt. Yeah. Probably straight from the damn corporation you're pairing with. Stuff like this has been happening for a while. This Intercept article was just from 2 days ago. LAPD deployed drones to spy on No Kings protest. 32 times it flew over. Last year, the LAPD launched its Drone as First Responder program with a clearly articulated goal to protect and even save lives. Oh, wow. So noble. The pilot program authorized the rapid development of drones at the scenes of certain emergency calls before human officers even arrive, and apparently at peaceful protests. After receiving a 911 call, authorities can dispatch a drone to get a better picture of what's happening from the sky, potentially reducing the number of officers dispatched. The LAPD turned to Skydio, a California-based drone startup that previously marketed its aircraft to consumers, but has pivoted to supplying militarized weapons-compatible hardware for the U.S. Army, the IDF, and other governments. Calling it the least surprising, oh man, a Silicon Valley tech startup that supplies the IDF? Wow, how novel. Classic. Feeling brave today, sir? According to flight data shared publicly by the LAPD and Skydio, the city has used DFR not only to respond to emergencies, but also to monitor multiple protests across Los Angeles. LAPD drone flights downtown LA. Look at all those. From the LAPD HQ down to the location of the protests. The police department did not answer a detailed list of follow-up questions, including how much protest-related data it had captured via drone surveillance to date, or who monitors drone feed over protests. The LAPD's fleet of Skydio X-10 drones monitor the ground with a sophisticated suite of sensors the company says are capable of detecting the presence of a person from a distance of more than 8,000 feet and identifying an individual more than 2,500 feet away. The company also touts the drone's ability to read license plates from a distance of 800 feet. Cool. So, yeah, you know. Anyway, it's not just the UK, it's happening everywhere. They do not believe in liberalism anymore. They have given up on it. They are looking for alternatives. The most liberal people in the United States are the Democratic Socialists because they're the only ones who are even pretending to care about the process of meeting the needs of the voter. If you are to the right of like Abdul al-Sayed, you've basically given up on the idea that democracy exists to facilitate the interests of the voting public. And of course, if you're, you know, further right you get, the more anti-democratic you get in a lot of cases, but you know, you get me. Ugh. Crazy surveillance bullshit. Very, very scary. Boo. Very good. Another subject. Excellently covered. Let's see. More economic polling. How much worse can it get? A man was wrongly identified by AI cameras in a casino. Despite having his real ID, the officer trusted the AI over the police database, even though there were two different lookalikes. That's pretty funny. Trump's approval rating on the economy dropped to 30% in April from 38% in March. Wait, that's actually fucking insane? Down 38% to 30, minus 8 points in a single month? Holy shit. That's crazy. That's like, yeah, you've lost like a quarter of your economic support in that time. That's insane. Kerplunk. The poll was conducted April 16th to 20th, during which time the Strait of Hormuz was reopened by Iran, then closed again. Why isn't it lower? Colt. Also, we've not even begun to feel the effects of the closure. Not even begun. Only 33% of U.S. adults approve of Trump's overall job performance, down slightly from 38% last month. I don't feel like a 5-point drop in a month is slightly. I don't think that's slightly at all. I think that's actually a very fast, like if you extrapolated that over the course of a year, 5 points in 1 month would be 60 points in 1 year, which is a lot. Also means his Colt's cracking a bit? Well, maybe. Maybe. Trump on Tuesday dismissed the war as a little journey and portrayed the roughly 35% jump in oil prices as a positive compared to what he thought would happen. He told CNBC in an interview that he was surprised that oil prices were only around 90 a barrel compared to the 200 he claims to have expected. He's like us, man. He's looking at the oil prices and he's like, I don't get it. I don't get it. The money men are like shorting the fuck out of WTI crude, and Trump's just looking at the line like wavering. That's crazy. Yeah, he's saying nothing ever happens. He's sad. He was looking forward to the line going up. Younger Republicans are particularly unhappy. About 6 in 10 Republicans under 45 disapprove how Trump's handling costs compared to about 4 in 10 older Republicans. 4 in 10 older Republicans is still a lot, considering that they're like, you know, occult and very stupid. Like, really, really stupid. Like, they're barely sapient. Oh, here you go, guys. Miguel Cortez, a 67-year-old retired aircraft mechanic. I know you guys were waiting for that one. People who read ahead, you were really excited. Don't worry, I wouldn't skip it over. Believes the increase in price from tariffs in the Iran war was simply a temporary price to pay. Oh, yeah. As for gasoline costs rising, quote, it is what it is. I'm not going to complain. People are just going to have to deal with it. Incredibly subservient people. Human sheep, yeah. It's pretty fucked. It's funny that right-wingers are the ones who engage in, like, the Nietzschean Ubermensch talk, when if Nietzsche could see the behavior of the average Republican, he would lose his fucking mind, you know? Nietzsche would vote Dem down ticket. There's just nothing that compares to the natural subservience of a Republican. It's the next line that's insane. From deep in my soul, I believe God put him there for a reason, said Cortez. Yeah, I mean, what other than a belief in God could keep you supporting Trump at this point, right? About 3/4 of U.S. adults describe the U.S. economy as very or somewhat poor in April. Sheesh. God damn, man. Create the Antichrist for a reason? Yeah. Hold on. Trying to see if we can't get our Calci update on the numbers. Harry Enton? I don't see Harry Enton. Might have to wait a bit for the Harry Enton take on these. It's really bad. We're at the worst polling ever for a modern president, right? Since we began, like, contemporary polling. I think that we're at the highest level of unpopularity ever. About 2 in 10 independents approve of Trump's performance on the economy in a new poll, down slightly from about 3 in 10 in March. Okay, Associated Press. Down from 3 in 10 to 2 in 10 is not slightly, that's actually a lot. That means 1/3 of the previously satisfied independents over the course of a single month drop their support. Why are you fucking minimizing this, man? You're the one who put out the article on how his numbers are looking bad. Why are you like, oh, it's no big deal. He's just cratering in every department. Why are you like, you don't evaluate these percentages on a flat scale. You do it relative to the previous number. That's how it works. Jesus Christ. That's crazy. Trump's terrible numbers. All right, well, let's not wait any longer before we get to the big victory lap, huh? Are you guys hyped up? We did it. Democracy, or something resembling it, has been heroically preserved thanks to the good people of the Commonwealth of Virginia. Just barely, just barely. A 4-seat pickup, man. God damn. Here, let me see if I can find some Fox News whining about it. Let me see. A bunch of stuff about Iran. We'll talk about that in a second. Iran. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Mad about. Mad. Where is it? Mad. Do they not want to talk about this? Do we not want to talk about Virginia right now, Fox News? Are we not feeling it? Just want to talk about Iran? Want to talk about how the Strait of Hormuz is closed again and Iran's fucking L train dancing on you? Wait, seriously, are they actually not talking about it? What are they? For real? Okay, fuck, CNN it is. Hey, if somebody can find like a Fox segment on that. Oh, here we go. Okay, it's on their second Fox News Clips channel. Maybe it's because they know that Trump watches Fox News, so they didn't want to like oversaturate the network with stuff that would raise his blood pressure. I'd love some coffee, love.
All right, now back to the Virginia redistricting measure, which could give Democrats an
They
advantage heading into the midterms.
that shit. Get into the second channel.
President Barack Obama writing on X, quote, "Congratulations, Virginia. Republicans are trying to tilt the midterm elections in their favor, but they haven't done it yet. Thanks for showing us what it looks like to stand up for our democracy and fight back." Our next guest lives in Virginia. Defending Education founder Nikki Neely joins me now. Nikki, thank you so much for joining us on this. One of the notable things about this is that this was narrowly passed in Virginia.
This is an unbelievable level of cowardice on their part. They just lost 4 House seats, and all we're doing is a little fucking interview. Come on, we know Trump's mad over this. You don't have to pretend. It's like an unbelievable defeat. You're just gonna shelf it.
51.5 to 48.5, but it's going to have a major implication when it comes to the congressional map. I mean, it will change it drastically, could give Democrats 10 seats to Republicans 1. So as a Virginia resident yourself, what do you think about this?
I saw this while waiting to start stream. It was guy who votes against the Virginia redistricting plan because he thinks that 1 seat is still too many for Republicans to have. I hear you. I see you.
This is sickening. You know, Virginia used to have what was basically the most fair maps in the country. Our congressional delegation of 11 seats sent 6 Democrats and 5 Republicans. And so, as you said, now it's going to be 10-1. But this whole referendum was a gaslighting attempt. Much like we were told Abigail Spanberger was a moderate, we were told that this was a temporary measure. We were told that it is to restore fairness. And there is absolutely nothing fair about upstate Virginia basically dictating what is going on for the rest of the state and the rest of the country. Because, you know, it's the signs that we saw that had the most residents down.
You're right. Defending Education founder. This woman, she's a resident of Virginia. The group that she leads, they're trying to censor school books. Opposes the factual teaching of racism in K-12 schools, teachers unions, school admissions processes that consider or acknowledge race, any discussion of gender identity or sexuality in schools. Why did they bring her on? Because she's Virginia-based? Like, this isn't even irrelevant to the redistricting. Just had to find some chud from Virginia, I guess.
State actually said, "Don't Fairfax my Virginia." And I think there's a real disgust with how Northern Virginia is stomping all over lower income Virginia and rural Virginians' rights.
Yeah, and the way that this ballot question was phrased is being called into question because it actually included that term that this measure would restore fairness to the election process. You have National Republican Congressional Committee Chairman Richard Hudson also releasing the following statement, Nikki, saying, quote, Virginia Democrats can't redraw reality. This
really don't feel any sympathy for them. The Republicans, you really shouldn't. They're getting what they wanted. Republicans want to end democracy, and this is what we're giving them. I'm saying I was under the impression, Republicans, that this was exactly what you wanted. My apologies. Maybe I misunderstood. I thought that you wanted an end to fair democracy. Okay, I guess you picky motherfuckers, you asked for it.
Close margin reinforces that Virginia is a purple state that shouldn't be represented by a severe partisan gerrymander. That's exactly why the courts, who have already ruled twice to block this egregious power grab, should uphold Virginia law.
Isn't Virginia the poorest U.S. state? No, not even close. Virginia's got a ton of money.
Under this map, Republicans will hold our majority based on our record cleaning up Democrats.
Oh yeah, you're thinking of West Virginia. You're thinking of West Virginia. Yeah, that's it. That I talk about West Virginia more than I do Virginia because West Virginia is like a cesspit. So I bring it up as like in a, you know, they're like a punching bag.
And you also have former Governor Glenn Youngkin urging the Virginia Supreme Court to rule against this. So is this fight over?
This fight is not over. All the action goes to the Virginia State Supreme Court.
Apparently, a lower court has ruled this unconstitutional. The judge entered an injunction blocking certification of the election, denied a motion to stay pending appeal. So the legal battle will go on now. We'll see how it goes.
So this is going to start, you know, it's going to kick off again on Monday. And I think many of us are hoping that the courts will do the right thing in this because this is deeply unjust. This process has been flawed from the start. I mean, the fact that they kept this special session open, just everything about this process has truly, I mean, the fact that they have used the term fairness is kind of sickening because this is anything but fair and it is anything but democratic.
Yeah, and you know, we want to switch gears here to something else because the organization that you founded just did a study and found out something that all parents in Vermont should know about. Can you tell us about this?
Oh, now we're talking about the transgenders in school. Okay, separate subject, not really interesting. Trump's response is interesting. I mean, it's pretty much what you'd expect it would be. A rigged election took place last night in the great Commonwealth of Virginia. All day long, Republicans were winning. The spirit was unbelievable until the very end when, of course, there was a massive mail-in ballot drop. Yeah. Where have I heard that one before? And the Democrats eked out another crooked victory. 6-5 goes 10-1, and yet the presidential election in November was very close to a 50-50 split. In addition to everything else, the language in the referendum was purposefully unintelligible and deceptive. As everyone knows, I am an extraordinarily brilliant person, and even I had no idea what the hell they were talking about in the referendum, and neither do they. Let's see if the courts will fix this travesty of justice. President Donald J. Trump. I wasn't paying much attention. Was there actually a mail-in ballot drop, or is he making that up too? I mean, there was in the sense that at a certain point, they start to count the mail-in and the early votes, like in every election. It's the same thing every time, man. Every time the mail-in ballot drop they're referring to is just people counting those votes. I did see the WAPO post. It is worth noting, though, because I saw a lot of people are being very upsetty spaghetti over it. I did see this. These are op-eds, you know? The Washington Post isn't necessarily endorsing either of these views, though that they allow them to go to print is somewhat telling. The Texas gerrymander freakout, what's happening in the Lone Star State is not a threat to democracy. That was fucking 8 months ago or whatever. Versus, Virginia plunges America deeper into the gerrymandering abyss. The redistricting scheme was always a power grab by Democrats. Always? All the redistricting? What was it? Was it Democrats pulling Governor Greg Abbott's strings as well? All the way from the beginning? How deep down the rabbit hole are you willing to go? It was actually Democrats over there at the Alamo fighting for Texas independence so that one day they would be able to kick off a 2025 redistricting race the Democrats would eventually win. The deepest state. I remember that. You remember the Alamo? Yeah, I've heard about that. I've heard about it before as well. Spare me the complaints about Virginia's new districts. This is my district in Texas. Unlike Virginia, I wasn't able to vote in it. The blue area is a very diverse part of the Dallas suburbs that was carved out and thrown in with a bunch of rural red voters as far as 180 miles away. Look at that, man. That's fucking crazy. The little partitioning of Dallas, and then here's the chud zone that you're cracking the votes with. Democracy, yeah. Well, American democracy is kind of dead, guys. If you take a look not only at the interests and the positions of both parties, but also in the widespread advocacy for gerrymandering and an unwillingness on anyone's part really to make a positive case for democracy. It's pretty like the decline is not going to stop for a while, you know? I just support the undemocratic action as long as it keeps, you know, the worst people from being in power, basically. It's kind of like if a wrestling match devolved into a fist fight, but the other side was just throwing haymakers left and right. Like, I'm okay with my guy throwing a few punches as well. I know we're not getting back to the wrestling match anytime soon. The hope for this to go back to being an above-board wrestling match has long since faded from my mind. But if this is the road we're going down, my guy's not the one hitting the mat. You seen this lady? She's funny as fuck. Yes, Luis Lucas, the architect. Of this great shift. Well, we'll see how it goes, Jin Suresh. We'll see how it goes. What's your opinion on this voting map? Virginia holding this country together as a last bastion? Map of states that have voted for a bestie of Jeffrey Epstein in a presidential election. The Commonwealth, holding it down. Thank you for proving that there's still something worth fighting for in this shit-ass country. All right.
We have some breaking news tonight as CNN can now project that Virginia voters have approved a Democratic plan to dramatically redraw the state's congressional map. 92% of the results are in, with just over 51% voting yes on the ballot measure. Now, if this map is enacted, it means Democrats could win 10 out of the state's 11 congressional districts, which would boost the party at large in the fight for control of Congress. Harrington is here.
Keep in mind, we're still winning in the midterms. Like, even if this hadn't happened, we would still win in the midterms. It's just right now, the way things are going, I feel like we're hurtling towards like a fucking 40-seat lead in the House, which is very funny. Why bro looking devious? Yeah, he's doing the Tate, the international symbol of pedophilia. The Andrew Tate hand gesture. Yeah. You just did it. That means you're... Yeah. Thank you. Ah, fuck, they already closed the door. Is it 4 seats minimum or 4 total in Virginia? I think people expect this is a 4-seat pickup in Virginia. It seems likely that's what it's going to be. If this didn't pass, would we still win the midterms? Yes, easily. Yeah. No, the midterms are a foregone conclusion. My main concern in 2026, people say, the shit libs like to say, we don't believe in democracy, follow the party line. I believe in democracy. I'm the world's only remaining liberal. My main focus for 2026 is not Dems beating Republicans, because the Dems gonna beat the Republicans, okay? I mean, don't get me wrong, I want them to by the widest margin possible, but my primary focus is, you know, we get our boys in there. As many good Democrats. You know, it's good to have Democrats. It's better to have good Democrats. So that's my main focus. The actual victor in the midterms is a foregone conclusion.
To join us. And Harry, obviously, there were a lot of questions of how this would go tonight. Tell us what we're seeing in these numbers so far.
Yeah, I would just say, look, the yes side won. Yes, they are probably going to end up lower than the percentage that Kamala Harris won.
So volunteer for PV? Yep. By the way, in the coming months, I think that I'm going to be doing some more candidate interviews, most of which I imagine will be facilitated by PV. And if I remember the scheduling correctly, we might actually have one this weekend, a cool one. A neat one. But this isn't being done for no reason. It's not being done because, you know, it's not being done purely out of a desire for content, right? We want to get some of you motherfuckers to sign up in Canvas and Phone Bank, and we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about that. Why would I volunteer for PV if we're already going to win? Excellent question, because it's not just about Democrats beating Republicans. It's about the good Democrats beating the bad Democrats, the deep state Democrats, you know? And that's key. We do want that.
in terms of the margin. But you know what? A win.
That was bait. I know that, Vosh. I know Puzzler 22. Everything you say is retarded. So my assumption is that like most of it is bait.
Is a win, and this means a lot for Virginia. And I will just note, just look at this. They have basically going to gerrymander this state rotten. They are basically going to lock Republicans out of power in a state where Donald Trump got 46% of the vote back in 2024. House seats Republicans in Virginia are only going to really end up with 9%. That is quite the imbalance that's going on here, right? Of course, this is part of a larger national picture as well in terms of redistricting. And this, to me, is what is so interesting.
Aforementioned guy who voted against the Virginia referendum. You're telling me we're going to let Republicans have 9% of the seats from here? Absolutely not. Give me a redistricting map that looks like somebody did a glitch wave edit of Virginia, okay? I want like 11 parallel lines, each of which are the width of one street, wrapping around the bottom of the state and portioning out. We need an exactly 51-49 split for every district, okay? And it's not anti-democratic because we are, in fact, a republic.
Right? Oh, we've had all this redistricting, right? It started in Texas. Then it was California. We've done Ohio. We've done North Carolina.
Yes.
We've done Utah. But heading into tonight, pre-Virginia results, the net gain from this mid-decade redistricting was really 0 seats, neither side gaining. But now is where we are right now with the Virginia measure passing. Democrats jump out ahead. They are the ones leading in mid-decade redistricting, leading right now by 4 seats on the strength of that yes vote, however thin that margin actually is.
So, Harry, I mean, obviously, Senator Warren was just talking about 6 months from now, the midterm elections. What could this mean for the fight for who controls Congress here?
Yeah, I mean, if you know anything about the House of Representatives, and you're down in Washington, D.C., so you know a heck of a lot more than I do, I would just say this. The power right now, it's so tight, right? Every vote is so tight in the U.S. House of Representatives. So you just take a look here, and this gives you the math of why this vote was so important. If you talk about the margin of the GOP majority in the House post the 2024 election, it was 2 seats, 2 seats. That's how many seats they could lose on a vote before losing the majority. Now, all of a sudden, we're talking about Democrats gaining 1, 2, 3, 4 seats, 4 seats in Virginia. The simple math here is 4 is greater than 2. Without Democrats to pick up any more seats, this would eliminate the Republican majority and instill a Democratic majority because the margins are so tight. This vote in Virginia means so very much, and that's why all that money was spent on it. My goodness gracious.
Yeah, a ton of money. Harry, thank you for doing that math for us.
I know, it's very hard, very hard.
This is why we keep you around.
That's right.
Harry Enton, thank you for that. For more on this, my political sources are here tonight. Jermichael, what's your assessment of what's happening?
I mean, look, I'm not happy about this. What we're seeing is a gradual destruction of
How do you feel about this? Well, I'm not going to lie. It's looking real bad for us
in our country. So what happens when you create an atmosphere and an environment where compromise no longer exists?
Imagine living in that version of America. Imagine living in that version of America. Yeah, you know, it would suck if that was where we were.
But yeah, maybe this is good for Democrats today, but is it good for the long run? Probably not. For 4 years, there was an argument from my friends on the other side about democracy.
Republicans, when Trump wins an election by 0.4 percentage points with a historically low turnout. Hitler! Republicans, when Democrats use a popular referendum to do the thing to Virginia that they did unilaterally to Texas. It's like no one even cares about playing fair anymore. It's like no one even believes in the spirit of the game.
Falling in darkness. Well, how in the hell is this preserving democracy? And look, I'm not saying that one side over the other doesn't gerrymander. Hell, they all gerrymander. It's just not a good thing at all. The American people don't benefit.
I just don't know why you would do that to us. Why would you do that to us? Why would
from this. And as someone who resides in Virginia, where you have, what, 40+% of the state that voted for the current president, rather, leaving only one Republican congressional seat seems to be in force of democracy and protecting the Constitution and the preservation of these great ideals, I would think not.
Well, Nira, I mean, what do you say to that? Because that was a question we asked a lot of Democrats once they launched their own redistricting efforts after we saw what happened in Texas. But a lot of them argued to us was, well, if the Republicans are doing it, we're also going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, the real problem here is that Republicans launched a mid-decade redistricting project in Texas. Virginia came up with its results, but Florida is likely to redistrict in the next couple of days. In fact, they held off for the vote, I think, for political reasons, but they are likely to redistrict. So at the end of the day, I think Democrats and Republicans will roughly match out to be equal. We don't know what Florida will do. I think maybe they'll be concerned that redistricting could end up, they could end up losing some of those seats because there could be such a great way.
Florida's already risky. Why would they spread it thinner? Oh, man, nothing would make me happier than a Florida dummy mander, dude. They've got so many people in such a precarious fucking, like, existing districting. I would love that. That would be so fucking funny, dude. Me down there in the fucking GOP Florida lever polling room. Surely the Latin vote will hold from 2024, right? Absolutely. 100%.
But I think the truth is that Democrats have supported a nationwide ban on partisan gerrymandering. Republicans have opposed that. This was a part of legislation they tried to pass in the last cycle. Republicans have opposed that. I believe that we should have a nationwide ban on partisan.
What were those noises supposed to be? Well, I was imagining that the way you did redistricting was you were seated at like a comedically old-fashioned computer where you had like you pull levers and there's like steam billowing out of the hydraulics and there's like a big crank and then it pulled like a little ticker tape shoots out that gives you like the info on which streets and lines and to cut the district, you understand, you get it. Yeah, the knobs and levers of democracy or whatever remnants of it there may be in Florida at this point. Florida is not a very democratic state internally. You all know, we've talked about that. It's like Florida and Texas are like, genuinely, if you take a look at them as state governments and not as parts of a federal government, if you just look at their state governments, they are like not democracies. Like they're like Hungary, genuinely. They're like really fucking captured. It's really, really bad. Like the federal government under Trump is much more democratic than the state government of Texas is. Or Florida, yeah. It's very bad. Try Missouri? Yeah, but at least it's Missouri. Nobody has mentioned this, but if Republicans don't like this, they literally have the power to ban partisan gerrymandering in Congress. Yes, it is worth remembering that, like, take a step outside the game. Democrats have supported a national ban on gerrymandering. Republicans don't. So if Republicans ever want to like get serious about, fixing all this and, I didn't think it'd go this badly for me, guys. Let's ban gerrymandering. If they wanted to do that, they could. Democrats are willing to do that. The joke is over. I'm in a good mood. I'm in a good mood today. Last night, democracy asterisk was preserved in Virginia. I did a workout yesterday. I hit it. It was a lot for a guy like me. 20 push-ups. That's the most I can do in a row right now. I'll get better. But then I did a full workout, and I was able to hit new PRs on the dumbbell press and pull over. That was good. Last night I got there's a lot of millennial slop out there, but I got to watch some millennial gem. That's right. Some ATLA was playing on the TV. Happened to sit down, catch a little bit of that. Watched, the eclipse not go the way people wanted it to. Very good. Very, very good. I can do more push-ups than Vosh, lol. Not even remotely surprising to me. Do keep in mind that up until recently, when I fixed my costochondritis, I could not do one push-up because the pain in my chest was too great. But then the great chest popping happened, and now I can do push-ups. So I'm catching up from what if you I couldn't even do one before. So technically, me being able to do 20 in a row right now is an infinity% increase from the original number. But I will say though, They're 20 with proper form. Like, I know some of you guys out there, you're like, well, I can hit the 20. And then I see what counts as a push-up for you people. And no, the fuck you cannot. So I'm just saying that if you want to mentally compete with me, you have to make sure you're all the way. My tips touching the ground every time I'm going down, you know? Tuck in your damn elbows. What were we talking about? Redistricting. Yeah, we got the subject. We got it down pretty much. Democracy preserved in the great Commonwealth of Virginia. Butte. Butte. Great example of how corrupt the Florida state government is. The Florida Wildlife Commission is tasked to manage natural resources in the state, and 6 out of the 7 commissioners are real estate developers, and one of them is like a lumber magnate. That's really funny. And by funny, I mean like really, really unfortunate. You know, Florida's natural environment is like a miracle. You know, it's like a wonder of the world. You know, the Everglades are very, I wouldn't call them beautiful in a conventional sense, but they're unique and worth preserving. It's very unfortunate. Are there any like boring states? Kansas. Can we just let the Republicans do whatever they want with like fishing and wildlife in Kansas? They can chop all the wood over there. It's Kansas, right? Idaho. No, Idaho has some very beautiful mountains. Kansas is flat and boring, I think. I haven't driven through it. No, Kansas is very pretty. Take Wyoming. Are you fucking insane? Kansas is pretty. Take Wyoming. Google Kansas and Google Wyoming. What are you talking about? Wyoming has fucking Yellowstone. Kansas is just corn. Are you insane? Wyoming is like a beautiful. It's magical. Plus, it's got like the bison, you know? The northern Great Plains are just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. Look at that. Okay, that's a highly saturated image, which might not necessarily represent the real landscape. Here's a less saturated image of the same mountain range. There you go. Just beautiful. Just beautiful. A lot of Wyoming, to me, a lot of Wyoming looks like Mongolia. I don't know why. I feel like whenever I see pictures of Wyoming, and you can tell they're different because the grass types are different, but some of the Great Plains of Wyoming, I look at and I'm like, this is like a steppe, you know? It's a great steppe. The Great Bluffs and Plains, yeah. White guys will just say any old shit. Not untrue. Not untrue. It's just a very pretty state. Also, it's got this. It's got that, like... This is the world tree. They don't want you to know about this, but this was the world tree. This was Yggdrasil. That's why it looks like that. It's the trunk of a tree, but it was cut down. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yes, sir. Yeah, this was the fuck, what is it called? Elden tree? What was it called? Erd tree. It was the Erd tree. Those spurned by the grace of gold would come here and fight a big guy with an axe. Or something. Alaska must be special too. In terms of like natural environment, isn't Alaska like one of the most beautiful places in the world? Yeah, Alaska's like crazy beautiful. Yeah. America, by and large, America is very special in terms of its natural environment. Not every chunk of it, but quite a bit of it. Pretty soon I'm going back down to the American Southwest. I'm going to hike Zion National Canyon again. I went there a little bit a couple months ago, but unfortunately didn't have time to do all the like big 8-hour trails like the Narrows or whatever. So I want to go back there and give it a crack. Yeah, get your jokes out of the way. The Mormons are the ones who called it that. They probably called it Zion because they think, you know, the Mormons think the Garden of Eden's in Missouri. Saw that in a video on Twitter. Well, that's true. That might be true, yeah. I can't really, like, disprove it. I currently live where they think it is. Well, is it a paradise? Is it a paradise? Not really, but the food's good? Okay, yeah, that's cool. You ever think Adam and Eve did all that shit because they hadn't invented jambalaya yet? I mean, if they were in Missouri, they're like, there's got to be something more to this. Ain't nobody invented gumbo yet. We need the fruit of knowledge to teach us how long to slow cook that chicken. Fuck, I'm hungry. New Orleans has S-tier foods. Yeah. Creole Cajun food is like easily of the top tiers. And in my opinion, the only reason why it doesn't get treated that way is because of systemic racism. The great culinary traditions of the world that we respect, often you got a lot of highfalutin people, you know, 3-star Michelin restaurants, whatever, France, Italy, yeah. Great food, don't get me wrong. But like, for one, Mexican food needs more respect. All right? I understand that most of our experiences with Mexican food are like $6 a platter places that they serve you water in like plastic cups. They deserve more respect, for one. And for two, Cajun food. I think it's because Cajun food does not have a wealthy, dominant national identity. You know? Because obviously there's a lot of it in America, you know, but people don't really think, oh, American food? Cajun. I mean, I do, but, you know. And then you've got the Caribbean, but those countries are pretty poor. So I think that if you could theoretically, if jerk chicken was like national cuisine for a country that had a GDP per capita of 53K, I think more people around the world would talk about it. I think people would be like, have you had Jamaican food? Yeah, it's my favorite. But they'd be saying that like everywhere. They'd be saying that in fucking Austria or whatever. They'd be saying it in Italy. Objectively true. Yeah. Dude, plenty of people like Jamaican food. Yeah, in America, I'm saying like people should talk about Jamaican food or Cajun, you know, because they're not the same, but or either of those. They should talk about them the way people talk about like French food. You know? You're describing China? In China, do they really like Jamaican food? I mean, maybe. I don't know. How does a poor country like India get to have its cuisine go global? Size, right? I mean, they're insanely big. Also, a lot of Indian food was popularized in part through like trade and the British Raj. You know, there was like a boost in national attention or international attention driven to them by the British Empire, even if the British themselves didn't really make any use of the spices they got access to. So, you know, whatever. But yeah, fucking Indian food's great, man. Thai food could be top tier, but they have a serious problem. Serious problem, okay? They need to be making that curry a little bit more low calorie. Thai curry is fucking phenomenal. They need to find some lower calorie alternatives, okay? Because the hyper sweet condensed milk that they use as the curry base, it's like fucking 600 calories a can, man. It's insane how dense it is. They need to dial it down a little bit, okay? The calories we're making. No, you can. It's so much. Nah, coconut milk's so fucking good. Yeah, just get some low calorie coconut milk, man. It's so. Come on. Yeah, use some low fat coconut milk, okay? Not really, Vosh. The can of coconut milk makes for 4 servings. Yeah, maybe if you're fucking Thai-sized, okay? I'm an American. You crack open one of the... You serve me some Thai yellow curry, that shit is not... I don't care how big the bowl is, okay? It's fucking over. For the bowl, for the contents of the bowl, for me, it's over. All right? It's done. 55-gallon drum of curry. No! It's blocked up at the Strait of Hormuz. The WTI prices on crude Thai ramen are skyrocketing. Thankfully, the Thai ramen futures are holding steady thanks to the $400 billion that I've used to short it. Just go in the Peloton, burn it off. Oh, it's all so simple for you, huh? Just go in the Peloton, burn it off. You make me mad. Fuck you. Hold on one second. Let me take a piss real quick, and I'll be right back for more haha funnies. 1 second. Oh fuck. My back is killing me lately. Thank you for the coffee. The tail of that. All right, I'm back. Okay, I got another coffee. I shanghaied speaking of Asian cuisine, shanghaied my beautiful partner into making me another coffee. You guess how I tricked them? I said, could I have another coffee? He's done it again. Folks. Woo! What are we pulling on? Best foreign food: Mexican, Indian, Thai, Chinese, Greek, Japanese. Listen, I am a hardliner for Mexican food. I grew up in LA. It's not a controversial take amidst my my kin, my people. For sure. Greek food is excellent. Very, very good. Very, very good. I think that my preferences are going to be heavily influenced by the fact that I don't care for seafood. So that's like Japanese out the window. Much as I love sushi, I'm not a big seafood guy. And I am a baby when it comes to stuff with like a weird slimy texture. So to me, it's like seaweed or mushrooms. Some types of mushrooms, I just... lame? Yes, lame. Yes, it is. Yes, 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 yes. You know what? You know what's different about me? You know what makes me better than you? Okay? I am a picky eater, but I have never in my life stopped a group of friends or family from going to a restaurant they wanted to go to because of my picky eating. I never look at the menu beforehand. It doesn't matter what they say. It's a seafood place, whatever. It's a vegan place, whatever. I always find something I like. So I don't limit other people. Am I a picky eater? Yes. I never look at the menu. My partner can back that up. I have never looked at the menu before going to a restaurant. Not for a fancy one, not for a not fancy one. I never look. Doesn't matter what it is. When I go there, I find something I like. And if I don't find something I like, which I think has never happened, but if I didn't find something I'd like, I would simply get a Coca-Cola. I'm not making my shit their problem. I'd probably try something. I try to try new foods. I'm just not... I've had escargot. I went to a French restaurant. I had snails. I gotta say, I was not a big fan. I was not a big fan, but I did try it. Every place got the chicken tenders? Yeah. Every place do got the chicken tenders. That is true. What's the texture on escargot? Like mussels, kind of? Or it was like those soup cooked. It was like, it's not slimy. It's like a chewy. It's kind of like when you get the meatballs inside the soup dumplings. They're like wet and they have like a tack to them. It's pretty chewy, yeah. It's like muscly. I mean, if you think about it, like a snail's all muscle, right? You know? That sounds disgusting. I'm not describing it in the most charitable terms, but it tastes like butter and garlic because they put butter and garlic on it, you know? Like the clams and clam chowder. That's a good way of putting it. Like the clams and clam chowder, but bigger, you know? You know when you bite in the clams and it's got like a little tack to it, like a little, almost a snap to it. Yes, I hate that. I actually like clam chowder quite a bit. I've had in my life probably about 200 cans of the Campbell's Chunky clam chowder. It was a diet food for me, you know? 400 calories to a big can. You put it over a little bit of rice. Even, you know what you can do? You can thin it down, add a bit of water, turn a stew into a soup. It's a very good diet meal. The sodium is not, listen, okay? I've eaten a lot of salty foods. The majority of the sodium that I get in my diet is not from the foods I eat, but the salt that I add to the foods that I eat. I'm not looking at sodium, okay? Like, I am doubling the sodium content. This guy put salt in his Pop-Tarts. That shit was fucking delicious back when I had the room in my tum-tum for Pop-Tarts, man. It was the, you get the cinnamon, thank you, love, the cinnamon sugar Pop-Tarts, and you microwave them. No, not, sorry, you toast them. You don't microwave Pop-Tarts. You toast them, and then you crack them open. You got the gooey, you have the gooey, sugary cinnamon stuff on the inside, and you dip it a little bit in pretzel salt. And it's this incredible, you got a crack at the end, like a crackle, because the pretzel salt, it crackles, you know? A phenomenal juxtaposition of sweet and salty. Very, very good. Like dipping pretzels into, you know, cinnamon, the cinnamon sauce. Yeah. I'm healthier now. I don't do that no more. I would if I could. Last time you had your blood work done? It was fine, thank you. And my sodium levels were fine, thank you. They were fine. Why not now and then as a treat? Because lately, my excess calories have been taken up almost entirely by the Trader Joe's chocolate chunk, salted dark chocolate chunk cookies. If I have any excess calories in the day, it's gone. It's gone. I get it. You get it. They're so fucking good. For me, it's the dark chocolate peanut butter cups. I can't have those because there's no responsible way for me to have those. Did you see that that Buc-ee's on Twitter? Did you see that Buc-ee's gigantic peanut butter cup? The like 500 calorie peanut butter cup? I am so happy I'm not near a Buc-ee's, man. It looked so fucking tasty. I fucking love peanut butter cups. I can't have them. I can't have them. I'll never eat a responsible number of them if I am near them. I'm like that for anything peanut butter chocolate wise. I go fucking crazy for them. Recently, my naive but well-meaning partner bought me a bag of peanut butter chocolate M&Ms, not the peanut M&Ms, but the peanut butter M&Ms. And I held to the caloric limits day to day, but I was skipping meals to eat that shit. I was like, 900 calories left today. Let me see. That's okay. That's like a baked potato with some meat and a couple of M&Ms, or 72 M&Ms. I'm over here learning math to eat the maximum number of M&Ms. Fucked up. Check out Bear Bells. I eat the Bear Bells. I have their protein bars every day. Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. Vosh math, Vosh dinner. You ever have the peanut butter pretzels? This conversation is making me so hungry that I'm getting mad. We need to stop right now. We need to stop. Okay? No, it doesn't matter what my waistline, it doesn't matter what the ticker tape says round my waistline, okay? I will always be a fat boy in spirit, and we need to be respectful of that when we talk about delicious, yum yum peanut butter foods. Thank you. Okay, does the Adderall not impact your appetite? It does, but I'm a very hungry person. I'm a large person. Okay. Hold on. How tall are you? I'm 6'2", 210. He lies. He's 5'11". I've been seen in public! Oh, I scared River with that one. River, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, River. I'm sorry I yelled. I'm sorry. Sorry. You seem okay. All right. You want to leave? Okay, good. Let us see the 3-inch platforms from Alden's. Sadly, no. They're not even their indie boots don't have that kind of height gain. Half an inch at most. Oh man, I love black t-shirts make you look so much more fit than you actually are. No wonder everyone wears them. Fucking black compression t-shirts. Oh man, look at how jacked I am. I've done one workout in the past 4 months. All right. Basically the most athletic any human being has ever been. All right, Tucker Carlson. What are you up to? You all see this? I saw so much discourse on this.
You and I and everyone else who supported him, you wrote speeches for him, I campaigned for him. I mean, we're implicated in this for sure.
Yes.
It's not enough to say, well, I changed my mind, or like, oh, this is bad, I'm out. It's like, in very small ways, but in real ways, you and me and millions of people like us are the reason this is happening right now.
Yes.
So I do think it's like a moment to wrestle with our own consciences.
Fuck off, Tucker. You'll suck JD's dick in 1 year. 100%. Absolutely. The GOP will dump Trump at the first possible opportunity, or at the very least shift attention towards JD Vance. Remember how many times Alex Jones criticized Trump? Like 1,000 times, only for him to basically end up being a paid influencer for Trump? Non-stop. Oh, Trump's actually with the deep state, Epstein. And then, like, as soon as the Epstein files actually get released, it's too late. Alex Jones, in the post-Sandy Hook lawsuit environment, now realizes his only chance at a future is just suckling on the teat of the GOP for the rest of his life.
You know, we'll be tormented by it for a long time. I will be. And I want to say I'm sorry for misleading people. It was not intentional. That's all I'll say. But anyway, but the question does present itself immediately, like, what is this? Was this always the plan? You don't want to be a conspiracy nut, but like, clearly there were signs of low character. We knew that.
Yes.
But it didn't, there are tons of people of low character who like...
What a shit piss apology. Yeah, like the problem with Trump is that he's of low character. He's doing the fucking Democrat bit. He's doing the like fake civility thing. Oh, the problem with, he's so boorish, you know? How quickly people forget the fact that Tucker Carlson was a stooge for the Fox network for decades, like a loyal servant who said anything he was told to say, who advocated for so many Republicans, MAGA, non-MAGA, Bush, through Obama, like nonstop, like anything he was told to do or say.
Perform their character. It doesn't have to be
sort of the norm, actually, these days. I
Right.
would say.
Who the fuck is this guy?
I've outperformed my character a lot. I don't have especially high character, right? But you know, you try to, whatever, you try your best. But But what was this? Was this?
I mean, he's really unpopular with the right at the moment. It's not like Dem voters will like him. He's kind of stuck. Well, he was always going to shift back in with the mainstream GOP at some point. I think that, like Alex Jones, he's walking on a tightrope, okay? If you stick with Trump, you are going to get burned because Trump is going to fall, if he isn't already, and he's going to take a lot of people down with him. He's going to permanently ruin the credibility of a lot of people, or at least do a lot of damage to it. But you also don't want to jump ship too early because if you do, Trump will name you, he'll call you out, and you'll lose support just the same, you know? It's Tucker's brother? Wow, they do not look similar at all. Okay. So the trick, I guess, is to walk on a tightrope. I feel like what they're going to do into the future is they're going to sell themselves as supporters of the original Trump vision, that Trump was compromised by the deep state, by rhinos, by fakers, by whatever else, the Jews, you know, we know Tucker likes to go there, but they're like the handlers of his original intent, pure MAGA, you know? I think that's the line they're going to go with. I know it's what J.D. Vance is going to go with.
It's always the plan?
You know, looking back after the last year and a half, it seems like it kind of was. And it's easy. Well, you could get really deep about it and say, what was Butler? Like, how was it that and Ryan Ruth? I mean, he was subject to 2 legitimate assassination attempts. Have we ever gotten to the bottom? I know you've talked a lot about this, but have we ever gotten to the bottom of that?
I haven't talked a lot about it. I don't know
Is this just all like retard shit from now on?
the answer, but
The enormous amount of money he got from Miriam Adelson now seems suspect.
Now it seems, you know, I mean, we worked for the Murdochs for ages, and like Trump is constantly taking money from billionaires, but now the Adelson money seems a little bit suspect. Just in retrospect, there was no way to have known at the time. No way to have known at the time. You think the GOP will go full JQ? No. And the reason for that is because there's no way to go full JQ while remaining subservient to capital. Part of that's Israel. Part of that's the fact that there are some number of Jews who work at, you know, a higher level in finance and banking in the global economy. As you'd expect, there are plenty of Irish and Italians there as well. But the main reason is just a GOP that how would you say, that advocates for an aggressive pseudo-populist like wave against the capital class, parentheses JQ, is one that would be ineffective in pursuing its real goal, which is to suck off the rich nasty style. Like, the purpose of the GOP is to hit it deep, tunnel out in the throat, take the load in the stomach, and the GOP can't really do that if their entire base is mobilized almost entirely on anti-Semitism. I think they learned this. For one, the GOP is still hardlining for Israel. Keep that in mind. Even right now, with everything that's going on, the GOP is still very hardline for Israel. And for two, remember what happened with Epstein? That's what happens when you lean too far into the like populist anti-elite sentiment. You reveal the fact that every Republican is a rich pedophile, like every single one of them. You don't want to touch the stove twice. Trump understood this intuitively. He knew if you go too far with the Epstein stuff, eventually they're going to need some like, you know, actual information along those lines. And then when it comes out, it's just a giant detriment to you. Because as much as the Democratic Party may be in bed with capital, there are real people in the Democratic Party. There are Democrat politicians who are good people of good mind. They may be imperfect or compromised in some respect, but they are real people, civil servants trying to do good. There are no Republicans like that. None. There's no like internal base to fall to. If there was a crisis of sincerity in both parties, the Republican Party would be left with nobody afterwards because they are all compromised. Whereas with the Democrats, there are absolutely Democrats who are like real people, you know, who aren't openly, hideously corrupt. There are, absolutely there are, you know?
A lot of people at the time, but you know, there's a lot of money in politics. To run for president requires an enormous, I mean, cackling camel toe went through $2 billion and
Why can't Republicans drop Israel, lose the evangelicals? No. Republican Party without the support of evangelicals would be like the Democratic Party without the support of Black Americans times like 4. No, not even remotely possible. You wouldn't just be gutting the party. You'd be taking the heart and the brain. Did he just say cackling camel toe? Well, being weird about women is like 90% of fascism, yeah.
4 months. So it's still reprehensible, and it's still a big question for Trump, have been. So what does someone, it's so basic, comes back to the money. Like, what did they get in return for that amount of investment? And it's clear.
I get it. No, I mean, of course, I agree with every word that you're saying. I just think...
Anyway, the point I'm getting at, I guess, is that this is totally insincere, and if you fall for it, you're a fucking idiot. Tucker Carlson will be backing the GOP in some fashion in the future because there's no home for him elsewhere. I have seen some lefties point at this and go like, oh wow, he's learning, which like you're either co-opted or insanely stupid. Like I saw what's his face, Cenk Uygur saying like, well, what else do you people want? He's obviously co-opted. I mean, Cenk Uyghur's been like aligning with the right. Anna Kasparian as well. Some people though, you're just plain dumb. I mean, Jesus Christ, how many decades does a person have to be an ass kisser for Murdoch before you understand? CNN, give me your expert analysis on the situation.
Can we talk about Tucker Carlson? Because the breakup between he and the president has now reached another level. Let's watch.
I know it's a grift, but it's still tempting to want to see him turn. You are being entertained by jangling keys, I'm sorry to say. He's not actually turning. He's cynically appealing to a incredibly obvious and like popular shift against Trump, even within the right and independents. And he will be right back on at the nanosecond it were. Like, it's like following Alex Jones and being like, oh my God, he's finally realizing the Republicans are bad. You are letting yourself be fooled by a spectacle.
What Tucker said on his show yesterday.
It's not enough to say, well, I changed my mind.
Hey.
Or like, oh,
we already saw this once.
Out. It's like,
he's talking about his support for President Trump, which he effectively is saying he regrets.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting turnabout from the Republican National Convention when he was a primetime speaker and delivered like a 45-minute off-the-cuff, again, no notes, just about how this was the greatest option that anybody and any voter could want. And he has a very significant following that is vigorous in their support for him, and that support overlapped pretty directly with President Trump during the campaign. And I think Trump campaign officials would acknowledge that that certainly wasn't hurtful in any way, shape, or form. That was only helpful. I think the big question that I've had throughout kind of the splits through various parts of the MAGA universe, sometimes they can be overstated, sometimes we try and read too much into them, but on Tucker Carlson specifically is the number of times they've kind of toggled back and forth between, I'm kind of out of the circle now, no, now I'm back in it, and then all of a sudden he shows up at the White House for an oil executive event and is standing right next to him.
There like 5 days before the war started.
And so like I don't necessarily read that much into it because for whatever reason, whatever he says publicly, he can still...
Evangelical Zionist means there's no way for the GOP to drop Israel. That's true, yeah. It's in the long run, it's almost certainly going to work out in favor of the Democrats because as bad as the Democrats are and as undemocratic and as weak and so on and so forth as they are, the Republicans' base of support is tied permanently or almost permanently to an extremist ethno-religious cult that is dying off. There are fewer evangelicals as a portion of the population with every passing year because religiosity in the world in general is dying off. Fewer and fewer people are, being religious. It's happening everywhere, even for the evangelicals. So, considering the fact that's the big base of support, the Republicans are probably still going to be guided by the interests of evangelicals for decades after they become too small a portion of the population to be useful.
Will eventually get the president on the phone. I think the biggest question right now is the frustration that Josh was alluding to nationally with the war. The frustration for younger voters who the idea, many of them very shaped by the experiences in Iraq and Afghanistan, thinking we were lied to or we were misled. Yeah. And what the kind of, I guess, durability of that frustration or disappointment will...
They can thank Reagan for that. I think a lot of people would be surprised by how continuous of a thread this has been in Republican politics. For example, Reagan, in addition to him personally being a piece of shit, a bunch of his behavior was evangelical motivated. You know, the fact that he essentially deferred to witchcraft and spirit telling for his decision making. His wife was obsessed with pagan evangelical faith reading rituals to determine what he should do as president. The whole AIDS crisis. The reason Reagan led his government to allow AIDS to promulgate freely was in large part because the sentiment among evangelicals was that it was divine punishment for homosexuality. Reagan and his cronies thought of it as a solution to their gay crisis. There wasn't an AIDS crisis for them; it was a gay crisis. They did what the evangelicals wanted. They let them die. This has been like a key component of Republican politicking for a very long time. I know you said evangelicals are dying off, but don't they technically have a high birth rate? Many children of evangelicals do not themselves become evangelical. And also, no, not generally. You're thinking of Mormons. Mormons have a crazy high birth rate. Evangelicals,
be coming into electoral seasons ahead.
Do you think he's wrestling with his conscience?
I think that Tucker had plenty of time to untorment himself between January 6th.
What a magnificent head of hair, man. Bro just came back from Istanbul. Look at that.
2021 and election day of 2024. He had plenty of time to torment himself and say, I give up on this man. Instead, he embraced him. He helped propel him to this historic election win. I think that Tucker can't, by being sorry now, run away or rewrite history. Nor can I.
Geraldo Rivera is Sephardi Jewish. I don't know anything about that. Have the Sephardi Jews found out like the magic to amazing hair at 80 years old? I think he's 70. Geraldo from Rivia. He's got it. He's got the long, flowing white hair.
With this election, in my opinion. I mean, Trump is like a singularly talented campaigner who made it through all these historic, like chaotic periods, disasters. And, Kamala Harris made Trump president. Joe Biden made Trump president. Tucker's acting as if like he went out and he gave the endorsement and that rallied all these people. Like, this guy was going to win anyway. It had nothing to do with it. I mean,
maybe so, but yes. Tucker did absolutely boost Trump. He did absolutely support Trump. And he did it despite, we know, privately saying totally different things. And to Geraldo's point.
He used to work at Fox News. I know who Geraldo Rivera is. He was, for a very long time, a very, very prominent figure. Basically just became a never Trumper. But yeah, he's a known individual.
Back in these text messages that were released in the Dominion defamation lawsuit, here's what Tucker said back around that time. Trump has a pretty low success rate in his business.
One thing that's going to play to Tucker Carlson's favor, along with every other Republican who drops Trump over time, is that all of them will be able to point to leaked internal communications, proving that for years now they've hated Trump. And the reason they'll be able to do that is because everyone hates Trump. Every single person around Trump, in his cabinet, all of them, every single one of them, they're all texting each other, making fun of him. He's insane and impossible to work with, and literally no one likes being around him. All of them dislike him. So when Trump does inevitably get kicked to the can, all of them are going to be able to be like, guys, check it out. Look, look, look. I've always disliked him. I was just too cowardly to do anything about it for 10 years. That's great, man. That really reflects positively on your character. European here, number-wise, couldn't an independent Republican coalition outnumber the current evangelical one? I don't know what you mean by an independent Republican coalition. Let me put it this way. There are significantly more evangelicals than there are independents in America. And if you abandon the evangelicals, they would not just take the evangelicals. They would take everyone with an adjacent policy position, because evangelicals dictate all anti-abortion and anti-gay and anti-science politics in the United States. Even people who aren't evangelical but are Republican, they get their political positions from evangelicals. Evangelicals make up a majority of Republican politicians at the federal level. Like it's not just like a little cancer you can carve out. It is the party. Yeah, it's cooked into the sauce, you know? They're not like a tiny portion of the country. And yes, that is true. At this point, independent voters are borderline Democrats because Trump has galvanized people so far away from them. I support segregation, but for evangelicals. God willing. Anyway, it's stupid discourse. Obviously, Tucker Carlson's just biding his time waiting for that either JD endorsement or like whatever direction he's going to go in the future. But the idea that Tucker Carlson has shifted towards like an anti-elite, you know, populist position, it's completely made up. Remember after he got let go of Fox News? He got let go of from Fox News, and then for like 6 months he just worked for Russia. Like his number one thing after getting let go of by Fox News was to find another buyer. And he just like immediately nonstop, like weird pro-Kremlin talking points, not even in like an American context. He literally flew over to Russia and he was like, look at this supermarket. Wow. Oh boy, look at this. They've got many types of bread. Like he was just straight up paid by the Kremlin to do fucking... It's pathetic, man. He's so bought. He went out and found another buyer right after getting dropped by Murdoch. Now, you'd have to be a fucking idiot to fall for this. That'll remind me when I'm looking at the stuff later. That'll remind me. Idiot, moron, stupid. Baka, baka, baka. Sorry, I know that wouldn't. It would be cuter if it was like a girl saying it. How do guys say it? Baka, baka, baka. They do it like that. They do it something like that. Masaigu fact check. Is it just as cool when they actually do it? You've been in Japan. When the Japanese girl says ba, is that something they say in real life? Is that true? Unsubbing after hearing that? Okay. If they're 60 years old? Really? Damn, man. If I was a Japanese schoolgirl, I'd be saying that shit all the time. It looks like really fun. Apparently they can just say it like to everything. You know? I would love to be a pretty girl so I could be a huge cunt to everyone. That would be like #1 priority. Every time a guy even looked at me, I'd go, you know what I mean? That must feel fucking amazing. You can do that as a guy, but I don't think it hits the same. You people, you know, girls acting like anime characters is their version of fedora tippers. It is true that it's very cute in fiction, but then you look at the real life version, which is the like degenerate live streamers and VTubers, and they're doing the anime voice themselves, and it's like, wow, this is the most disgusting like the real life version of that is Belle Delphine practicing her a hey gal face for like every single photo shoot. And it's like, wow, this is actually disgusting, you know? I guess sometimes real life is, sometimes 3D's 3D and 2D's 2D, you know? You just made me frown thinking about it. All right. Okay, wait, just give me a second. Oh my God, that felt good. Yeah. Woo. God damn. Hey, can I ask for some fitness advice? Can I ask for some my flies down? Nice try, Bucko. Can I ask for some fitness advice? Okay, I have, you know what? Never mind. I'll save this for the end of stream. That's fine, that's fine. We'll save it for the end of stream. Okay, let me see. Senator Alyssa Slotkin being a deep state ghoul. Jewish people are the most targeted religious community in the United States. Nope! That would be Muslims, probably. That'd be my guess. Met community leaders from the ADL, from Temple Israel in Michigan across the country. Yep, don't care. Nice. It's atheist, actually. That's true. Tip. That shirt's nicer than Uniqlo. I'm afraid to ask how much Vosh paying for t-shirts now. It's the hemp t-shirt from Buck Mason. They make great t-shirts. They're basics, very good. Basically top tier. Let me see. Trump's labor secretary, oh, I already retweeted this, resigns amid ethics probe into husband's text messages to young female staffers. Yeah, that sounds about right. Sounds about right. Gotcha, gotcha. Yes, sir. Classic, 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 classic. U.S. Navy Secretary John Phelan leaving Trump administration, Pentagon. Cool. So our Secretary of the Navy is leaving in the middle of a blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. Just in the middle. We're right in the dog. We're literally mid-game. We are currently doing something. When things are going well? Yeah, no kidding. Hung Chao? No, it'd be Cao. The Undersecretary of the Navy will lead the military branch in an acting capacity. Me when I'm a bull in two-way. Wait, no, me when the Hung Cao. Yeah, because you're a bull. When the cuck, when they bring you in, but your penis is big. Take your time. Spit it out, Junior. There was no immediate explanation for Phelan's sudden departure, which comes as the U.S. Navy enforces a high-stakes blockade of Iranian ports near the Strait of Hormuz. Well, that's just spectacular. Just immediately departing. Tight 5 doesn't mean it takes 5 minutes. No, tight 5 is when your mom's mid, but it's been a while. Sorry, I'm still in a good mood from the Virginia redistricting. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'm just it's just I'm in a good mood, okay? I'm in a good mood. So the Strait of Hormuz. Let's shift topics. Trump extended the ceasefire indefinitely because he's a gigantic pussy. Correct? And Iran is back on their shit. So Trump said the ceasefire is still on, and Iran said Allahu Akbar, I think. IRGC has seized 2 ships.
I did just speak with President Trump a short time ago, asked him a number of questions about what's going on with the Iran war, as well as what's happening in Mexico, and also about the Virginia election. So we'll talk about that in just a moment. As I mentioned, I asked him about the attack by Iran and the seizure of 2 out of the 3 container ships in the strait that they confronted. His primary concern was that these are not...
Who owned these ships? This is a big deal.
U.S. ships, which obviously would take it to a very different level.
No, honestly, it doesn't really make that much of a difference because the U.S. price of oil is affected by global oil trade. So it doesn't really matter whether they're U.S. ships. It would have contributed to a decrease in the global price. They still took the ships. When this happened, just a couple hours ago, This was the preceding news. Iran fires on 3 ships in the Strait of Hormuz. The ceasefire's done. We're back on it now. We now have the previous situation where Iran is blockading the strait, and then America is blockading like 100 miles south of the strait, basically.
Okay, so military planners from more than 30 countries are holding 2 days of meetings to strategize how to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Foreign correspondent Jeff Paul is reporting live for us now out of London. Jeff?
Yeah, Sandra, and UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer says whatever is planned will be strictly peaceful and defensive and would only be put into action once the fighting ends. But until it does, the planning will continue as the European economy starts to show signs of fractures. And that is a huge part of the reason why this second summit on the Strait of Hormuz is taking place. Last week it was France. This week it's London, where officials hope to build off their progress. More than 30 nations and their military strategists are expected to attend the conference over the next 2 days.
If Iran's not at the conference, what difference does it make? We're out of option. Listen, okay, the futures market is going to continue to dribble spit on its chest and like for weeks or maybe even months from now. But I don't know what they're supposed to do. Oil prices are back up. We're not past 100 yet on WTI, but Brent is back over 100. Like, I don't want to mislead anyone and say the futures market is done doing its bullshit, but I don't know how many more tricks we can play. Iran only allowed the ceasefire to continue for the full 2 weeks because they were operating in good faith. But the other day, they just straight up did not attend peace talks in Islamabad. Witkoff, Kushner, and J.D. Vance were supposed to go over there to negotiate more. Iran was like, nah, not really much of a point. We're not getting what we want here, and didn't even show up. So we didn't even leave. Like, they're not even negotiating with us, you know? Beast mode, yeah, for sure. But like, it's back up. Futures market will never get much over 100 as long as the US and Japan have money to short the market. Well, hold your horses, bucko, because money's great and all. I was about to say money's great, but you can't burn it. You can, in fact, burn money, but the energy efficiency of burning cash in an engine is probably not up to snuff here compared to, you know, what we make with oil. We are running out, man. We already did a dispersion. Japan has, the United States has, the EU has. We've already done dispersions. If we do another one, which we might have to, the U.S. Petroleum Reserve will be empty. Jet fuel prices are still way the fuck up. We are not out of this, man. And it looks like everyone, like no one even knows. Like what do we do with the strait? They're holding a meeting to strategize how they open the strait. Iran has a suggestion. What if they controlled it? You know? We've got a couple months before we're actually fucked. Kind of, sort of. Dispersions from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve don't happen immediately. And even if they did, our oil prices are still affected by global oil prices. So even if we have a reserve to hold on to, it does not change the fact that we will be paying more while waiting for that dispersion. And once we're out, man. I mean, once we're out, to quote Anakin Skywalker, this is where the fun begins. I think that might have actually been Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm not entirely sure. It was Anakin? Thank you. It's been a while since I've seen it. Oh boy. Gulf states forced to shut in 9.1 million barrels per day in April as Hormuz stays blocked. Ooh. Collectively shut in 9.1 million barrels per day of crude oil production in April, up from 7.5 million barrels per day in March. So even more of their production is being shut down. That's huge. That means even during the 2-week period where there's been a very minimal exchange of fire, they're still engaging in the very costly practice of shutting down their oil extraction, which you don't want to do. The EIA protection assumes that the closure does not continue past April. Forecasting shut-ins will fall to approximately 7 million barrels per day in May and return to pre-conflict levels in late 2026 if the closure does not continue past April. Listen to that. If the closure does not continue past April, if it stops within the next week, we might return to near pre-conflict levels by the end of the year. If that assumption proves wrong and the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz continues, damage to the Gulf production capacity could take years to reverse. The UAE is asking the United States for a bailout. And why not? Trump admin's considering financial bailout for the UAE over economic losses sustained from U.S. war with Iran. Okay, wait. This is actually a big deal. For one, very stupid. For two, big deal. If the Gulf states are getting to a point where they're demanding money from us, they wouldn't do this unless they had a threat to back it up. Right? Like, they wouldn't just say, hey, U.S., give us money. What they're saying is, give us money or what? We're going to go with Iran? We're going to trade in yuan? We're not going to trade with you? What? What exactly? That's what I'm interested in. That's fucking crazy, man.
Work to hash out detailed military plans to secure freedom of navigation in the Strait and support a lasting ceasefire. And the clock is ticking, especially when it comes to the economy in Europe. The Energy Commissioner of the EU, Dan Jorgensen, says even in the best case scenario, the region will likely experience shortages in jet fuel and diesel fuel, impacting both travel and trade.
The UAE warns it'll start trading yuan. Oh, wait, they've actually said it? Oh, okay. I was just speculating when I said that one of the conditions that the UAE might be threatening is trading in yuan. They've just straight up said that. UAE officials reportedly warn they may be forced to use yuan or other currencies if they run low in dollars. Okay, well, then there you go, I guess.
This goes on for many months or even years. We're looking at a totally new world order and probably very, very severe economic consequences that goes far beyond only the energy sector, of course.
And Jorgensen says even if there was peace tomorrow, it would take a country like Qatar 2 years or more to rebuild its gas production. So he thinks no matter how positive the resolution is, this crisis will have an impact around the world for years to come. Sandra?
Got it. Jeff Paul, live out of London on that for us. Jeff, thank you. John?
All right, Sandra, let's bring in former CENTCOM commander, retired four-star General Joseph.
They can't sell oil in USD if they can't sell oil. Yep. I guess the idea of using the USD, the petrodollar might have been a bit of a... There might be some problems with that, you know? Besant has said many Gulf countries have asked the same thing. Ooh.
That the UAE is looking for a swap line. The war in Iran has already cost us dearly. In my view, it's been a huge mistake, made us less safe and a lot worse off. In addition to lives lost, we're talking about over $1 billion a day in taxpayer money. Overall, you expect to support it.
Senator, I would dispute much of what you earlier said and any linkages to this swap line. Many of our Gulf allies have requested swap lines. You would have just read about the UAE, and swap lines, whether it's from the Federal Reserve or the Treasury, are to maintain order in the dollar funding markets and to prevent the sale of the U.S. assets in a disorderly way. So the swap line would both benefit the UAE and the U.S. And as I said, numerous other countries, including some of our Asian allies, have also requested them.
I don't know why the fuck you would admit that. Blockade has supercharged Japanese influence in Southeast Asia. What was it? The co-prosperity sphere? Oh no, it's happening again. Gonna have to nuke Hiroshima again to stop their colonial ambitions. It starts with Japan offering 10 billion to support their Asian neighbors, and it ends with an invasion of Manchuria. Okay, I've seen it happen before. Blockade is winning. Soon it'll be global. Had a very good call this morning with the POTUS and Secretary of War Pete Hegseth about the way forward regarding the Iran conflict. I think the president's decision to leave the blockade in place is very smart. I not only expect this blockade to stay in place until Iran shows a commitment to change their ways. God, how far we've fallen, man. I expect this blockade to stay in place until Iran shows a commitment to change their ways. Iran, like, strangling the global oil market to death. And Lindsey Graham's like, well, until they learn their lesson, we're going to keep doing nothing. Jesus. Trump's blockade collapse Iranian ghost ships bypass U.S. Navy. Yeah. Yeah, man. Okay, this is ending up being about too many things, okay? So here's what we know right now. Oil prices are on their way back up. Brent crude has climbed back up above $100 a barrel. That's the global standard. All right? It's climbing back up, you know? Here's the month-long scope. We have to go up to a year, right? Here's what we were at before. Big spike up, then back down, now back up again. We're heading back up. The ceasefire is off. Iran's no longer abiding by it. The United States says they still are, but I don't really think that means anything. I don't know, like, it seems fake. The blockade's still in place, but Iranian ships are running it because there's only so many ships in the blockade. The U.S. only has so many ships in the blockade. Iran is back to holding the strait. They're also firing at and occupying vessels, which is crazy. And what's more, Secretary of the Navy just resigned. Just resigned. He's out. He's out of there. So, yeah, it's going well. It's going well. Everything's going according to plan. He really stuck his dick in the blender. Yeah, it's making my argument a little more tough that Kamala Harris would have done much the same thing when Trump fucks it up so spectacularly that nobody else could have done it quite like he did, you know? Like, I maintain my position that we'd be in the same general position if Kamala Harris had won, but I will admit, I think that Kamala Harris's hypothetical administration probably would have considered the possibility of Iran closing the strait before conducting any strikes. I think that they might have thought it through a little bit more. You know, I'm willing to give them that kind of credit. Great man theory. He's gonna confound political scientists for centuries to come, man. Could anyone else have fucked it up quite as well as him? Also, Iran has more military capabilities than we think. Yeah. Like, Iran has spent its military budget on drones and missiles. We spent our military budget on, I don't know, enriching pedophiles. Like, the Pentagon has been a gigantic, you know, get-rich-quick scheme for MIC companies and their many backers doing R&D to build fake bullshit that we don't need, whereas Iran found a drone design they could produce a lot of cheaply, so they did. It's like you've like two, you know, you've got two competing countries, and one of them spends $1 billion on like a hypothetical laser array, and the other one spends $1 billion buying Cold War era Soviet weaponry. Which do you think is going to win in the Torkov? Probably the team with like 500 million Kalashnikovs. I'd be willing to bet, and not the person with the non-functional laser array. So embarrassing, man. U.S. has depleted nearly half of its key missile stockpiles in Iran war. God. Where our tax money goes to. 50% of our THAAD interceptors, 50% of our Patriot interceptors, 30% of our Tomahawks, 45% precision strike. Jesus Christ, man. You hear about these for decades, too. How long have Tomahawks and Patriots been a thing? You think that in your head, you're like, yeah, America's got like infinity of those, right? No, it turns out we had 5! There's 5 of them in the whole world. We had 5. It'd be like, it's like those things like, oh, M4s or whatever, you know, oh, we must have a lot. No, we had 2 the whole time. Abrams, we had 1 of those. We just had 1 Abrams. Just been taking pictures of it from different angles. We give it a new paint job every once in a while. Every time they develop a new line of Abrams, they make 1 of them, and that's what they take pictures of for the next, 42 months, and then they make the next one. We only have 1 nuke. We polish the fuck out of it. We have basically an unlimited number of guided drop munitions. Unlimited number until we don't anymore, Kowalski. No, I'm not saying that Iran is a peer to us, not even close. It's just that, like, look, man, for the past 100 years, there's been a lesson that we've had to learn time and time again, and it's that strategic bombing doesn't win you control over a country. It literally never has worked, ever. You know what it took to invade Germany? People. In Vietnam, strategic bombing didn't work, didn't secure us control. We lost. Even though we killed a lot of people, we still lost. Laos, Cambodia, did we stop the trade to the Viet Cong? Nope. No, we fucking didn't. Iran, everything. We lose and we lose. And it's so expensive. True, but Dresden was based. We did Dresden for the love of the game, and I'll defend that. But it did not get us Dresden. You win territory with men. Look at Russia. The whole eastern third of Ukraine is like a cratered wasteland at this point, but it's no man's land. You can bomb all you want. It doesn't get you the territory. We have to learn this with Iran, leaving aside the fact that Iran is extremely populous and mountainous and just generally difficult to invade. We have no plan here. There is not enough money in the world to sustain a bombing campaign against Iran indefinitely, and even if we could, it would not prevent them from holding the strait closed. The Pentagon shared it may take 6 months to clear mines out of the strait. I don't even know if there are mines in the strait. By the way, if the Strait of Hormuz remains closed for the next 6 months, really does remain closed for the next 6 months, I know we like to make rice and beans jokes here, but for real, you should be... I'll say this much. You should look into buying a bicycle. Okay? You should look into buying a bicycle. 6 months is enough time, I think, to deplete our strategic reserve. U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve disbursement. How long? Let me see. March, April 2026. We don't know exactly how much of the dispersion has taken place. Okay, 120 days, 172 million barrels. So about 1.3 million barrels per day, give or take, which doesn't even come close to accounting for the gap in production. God, even with our strategic petroleum reserve, we're limited to dispersing 1.3 million a day. How much do we use a day? 1 second. USA oil use barrels. 2.7 million a day. Even dispersing our strategic reserve, we're only covering half. Wait, hold on. I misread. I'm sorry. I misread by a factor of 10. We consume around 20 million barrels of petroleum a day. I read 2, but there was another 0 in there. It's actually 20. Our strategic petroleum reserve dispersion is only taking care of I don't know, fucking 7 or 8% of our daily needs? Jesus Christ. You're saying go long on bicycle futures? You want to invest in companies building bicycle lanes? I'd say go for it. The U.S. is already a massive exporter of oil. Even if we dispersed more, what tanker could we put it on? I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, even so, even if we had enough oil, which we're not going to, it doesn't change the fact that the price will rise, you know? If the global market drives up the price of oil, we will be paying those higher prices because our companies still transact internationally. I just joined what's happening. We're doing math on how fucked we are. Yeah, I'm taking a look at the dispersion. I'm sorry. When was this published? Hold on one second. Oh no. This was published April 11th, 2025. This is an estimate of what our reserves are going to look like before the Iran war began. Oh, no, no, no. What this actually looks like, what this is inaccurately estimating, would be a dashed line that continued to level up to here and then plummets down to around here over the span of 4 months, 120 days for the dispersion that was authorized. We can't see? Oh, you can't see my mouse. It'd be like this. It'd be like chunk. It'd be like, rather than do-do-do-do-do, it'd be like chunk. And it's only going to go down from there. Nasty, nasty stuff. It takes so long to refill them? I mean, yeah, you don't want to refill it too quickly or you risk driving the price of oil up further because the government's consuming so much of it. Nasty business. All right, well, that's how it's going. The Straits. Hold on. Iran's back in control, and holy shit, it's looking bad for us. Which is true. Is this fuel intended for public use? No, it's the government disperses it in order to artificially deflate the cost of oil in order to limit inflationary effects. But the way things are going right now, it looks like we're going to burn through our entire inventory. It doesn't seem like we're going to get an environment where we get to refill the strategic petroleum reserve for quite a while. Quite a while. Isn't the worst consequence of this going to hit around the midterms? Yeah, it's going to be really fucking bad. Well, hold on. Past the midterms, but like it's going to get worse leading up to them. We're going to see the real like food price. The food price effects, though, that's going to wait until next year, I think. Depends. It's going to kind of hit. If you want a sneak peek into the future, rice and beans, rice and beans. Average spot inflation. Take a look at that March 26th. Look at that jump between February and March 26th. And that's just 1 month, baby. Largely transportation costs, but it's only going to get worse from here because soon we're going to have to deal not only with transportation costs, but with increased food base cost increases thanks to the difficulty in, urea, all the farms and so on. Food's going to be more expensive. Japan, Mexico signed the energy cooperation deal. Nice. Or as they would say, nice. That's not fucking racist. They literally say that shit all the time. Fuck off. They're literally a fascist country. Just preempting that. It's important is you have to preempt it in a way that doesn't make you look defensive. Japan gives Mexico Dragon Ball Z and gets oil. +2. You didn't come off defensive at all. You're good. A lot of tabs open. Okay. Here is my fitness question, okay? I have some kind of injury in my right shoulder, and I it's affected me for a while, and I want to know, I want to confirm via like, because I've seen like conflicting information. I want to confirm via consensus. It's cancer. I know that, but I want to confirm via consensus, okay? It's a pain that I feel when I do this. So when I see my shoulder, I'm rotating my arm inward. That's an internal rotation, right? Because I looked it up. Arm pain, shoulder internal rotation, or whatever else. And I was getting like varying rotator cuff. The pain is like here, but more in. Is that the rotator cuff? I have this. I don't have it on this side. This side's fine. It's kind of annoying because it means that I can do this real easy, but on the other side I can't do this. See, I can't reach this hand up because it kind of hurts. I don't really know how to fix it. Ow. Is it internal on the arm or external? It's internal rotation. So when I rotate my arm inwards like this, as opposed to outwards like this. Inward. Rotator cuff? Well, it is a rotation. How long have you had it? Months and months and months. Pinch nerve, external rotation, and no, it's internal. It's internal. Is this the more used hand? I mean, sure, yeah. Have you seen a doctor? No, I'm just pitching a question to chat. We've confirmed it's an internal rotation. Try rotator cuff exercises if it doesn't get better in a week or two. Well, it has been months. Has he lost weight? Me? Not really. I didn't go to the gym for 2 weeks and then it was fine. I had something similar. Well, I haven't been to the gym in years, so, you know, clearly I've tried that already. Internal impingement of the shoulder. Shoulder impingement. Loss of strength, rotator cuff, diffuse pain that extends over the posterior aspect of your shoulder. Pain worsens precipitates parts. Okay, I'll look at this. Okay, it doesn't seem too serious. Well, now it kind of hurts because I tried to pull it a bit. Oh, see, it doesn't. It hurts when I do that. Doesn't hurt when I do this. That's fine. Ooh, look at how I can get that. I can. Yeah. Not so much with this one. Oof. My wife is a sports massage therapist. DM me and I can get her to write you up. No. I can defer to the group opinion of chat. I am not soliciting specific advice from anyone. I'm sure it's an easy problem to solve. Fix use banded arm raises. Put a band over your arms, elbows at side, pull outward, raise your hands over your head, keep your arms back. Wait. Put a band over your arms, elbows at side, like so, okay? Pull outwards, like that, keeping arms bent, like this. I'm doing this. He's doing this. Nah, there are no cracking sounds. In front of your body, like this. But that's external rotation, not internal rotation. So wouldn't that not fix it? Is this your version of asking ChatGPT? Yes. You're not removing your rib properly? Oh. I see. I see. Okay, well now it's kind of annoying me because it's... Well, now it feels kind of weird. Yeah. Rotator cuff pain location diagram. Okay, hold on. Number lock. No, this. Different button. Rotator cuff pain location diagram. Acromion, infraspinatus, teres. They invent so many words. Everything. It's up, it's down, it's back, it's forward. Come on. Rotator cuff pain locations. Help. Okay. Helps lift arm to the side most commonly injured. Nope, that part's fine. Rotates the arm outward. Nope, that's fine. Assists external rotation. No. Okay, then it's got to be this one. Yeah. Subscapularis. Rotates arm inward and provides important front of shoulder stability. It's got to be that. It's got to be that. Got to be that for sure. So that's the one up here on top. Does that feel right? Is it? Let me think. Ow. Ow. Yeah, I think it's that one. That feels right to me. Oof, ouch, my bones. Did Vosh talk about Virginia judge blocking the redistricting? Yeah, no, we looked at that briefly. I mean, we'll see it run through court. I expected this, right? Like, there's no way Republicans would let us, you know, would give us that easy of a dub without us having to, you know, pitch a bit of a fight. Lou raises? Lou raises? What the fuck is this? Why Lou raise? Lou raise. Lou raise. Lou raise.
In this video by Weightlifting House, we've got Li Huanhua doing the famous Lou raises, made famous, of course, by his former teammate Liu Zhaojun. Now,
yep, that looks tough.
Lou raises are something that have dominated the weightlifting community for years, first made famous by Lou, and these have a couple of different great benefits for weightlifters. The first one, of course, is the...
I don't know if doing this would be good for my shoulder. Feel like if I did this right now, it would just hurt. Newts, how many typos were there in that post? According to Fox News, Phelan was fired, not resigned. Really? Well, that makes it... That's even worse for Trump. If he resigned, it's because he doesn't agree with what's happening in the straight right now. If he was fired, it's because he expressed that he doesn't approve of what's happening, and then he was kicked out. Do like 2.5 pounds? I could probably do those raises with 5 pounds, I think.
Breaking story tonight, a shakeup at the Pentagon, another one, the Navy Secretary departing his post. What do we know?
Yeah, the Pentagon spokesman just announced Navy Secretary John Phelan is departing the administration effective immediately, saying, quote, "We wish him well in his future endeavors." It was not immediately clear from this post if he resigned or was fired, but Fox News has learned in the last few moments that he was fired. He had a very close relationship, apparently, with Donald Trump Jr. and just hosted a bridal shower for his fiancée this past weekend in Palm Beach. Phelan was confirmed by the Senate just over a year ago. Undersecretary Hung Cao is to assume the role of acting secretary. This marks the 34th military officer that Secretary Hegseth has fired since taking over the agency, Brett.
Yeah, John Phelan at Navy Secretary there.
Nice. Well, yeah. Kind of what you'd expect, I suppose. All right. Either way, I am going to read donos. Have you heard about the missing and dead scientists, most of which are/were related to the aerospace field? Yes, I have heard about this. I don't really know what to make of it. At least 10 American scientists with ties to U.S. nuclear or space research programs have died or disappeared in recent years, including 4 with ties to Southern California. Yeah, it seems like an ongoing problem. I haven't really looked into it. Yeah. Did you see the DHS counterterrorism employee who had a sugar daddy who dropped 40K on her? Based? I mean, that kind of makes sense, I guess, when you appoint top-level counterterrorism officials who are obviously, like, hookers. I don't know. I'm sorry, that might not be the preferred nomenclature, but, like... And you all might think this is sexist, but it's just true. There are no top counterterrorism officials who look like this. Like, come on. So what, do you think she's like a honeypot, or they just promoted a pretty girl or something? Come on. I hope people would understand it's not sexist if they could imagine, like, the reverse. Like, oh yeah, here's our top counterterrorism official, and it's like a 23-year-old Zac Efron. That's actually sexist? No, it's fucking not. Nomenclature, yeah, I always fuck that up. Like, it looks like a Backstreet Boy from the early 2000s or something. Like, no one looks like that. That's not what they actually look like. Nobody looks like that. She claims to actively look for sugar daddies to maintain her exorbitant lifestyle. That's pretty cool. Robert, a divorced father, said he took the raven-haired beauty on first-class trips to Aruba, Italy, San Diego, and South Carolina during their short time together. Spent $40,000 on her during a 3-month fling. But he could never spend enough to keep her happy, he claimed in an exclusive interview with the Daily Mail. Varvaro, however, told the Daily Mail she did nothing wrong. Quote, "I didn't know it was bad to go on vacation with your boyfriend." Is that beast mode? Kind of, but I do have a hard time saying that sugar girls, or whatever the fuck, the other side of the sugar daddy, I have a hard time saying they're beast mode because, like, I don't know, man. It comes across kind of pathetic in both directions to me. Like, the guy's paying for her time and attention, but she's given it for 3 months. Like, you have to spend your whole life fucking old ugly guys? Yeah, get a job. I don't know. I feel like I would respect it more if you were a high-class escort, right? Because then it's like, okay, you're done, you know, get out of my room or whatever, and then you get to spend the rest of your life normally. But if you're doing the sugar baby, sugar daddy thing, you have to, like, pretend to be their girlfriend. I don't know. To me, it seems like a much more... I'm not anti-sex work, right? If you're fucking for pay, whatever, you're an expert, service professional, great. But the whole, like, pretending to be your girlfriend thing... Didn't they make an anime about that? I don't know. Nice Rent-a-Girlfriend reference. Remember this? Robert claims he picked up the $1,400 tab and they ended their night with a kiss. Woo! Arriving in Aruba on a first-class flight, they checked into the Oceanside Renaissance Wind Creek Resort, where he said she expressed moderate displeasure. She was like, "This is nice, but it's not the Ritz," Robert said. And he's like going for it. Man, it's so embarrassing. What? What? Why? What? Why? I didn't think you'd be so stupid not to get me a souvenir, he recalled her telling him. Stop by the Cartier shop on their way to the airport. Jesus Christ. In one text exchange on March 28th, Vivaro apparently sent a picture of herself clutching $1,000 sandals, to which he replied, "So cute," only for her to later express her disgust that he didn't just Venmo her the money to buy them, he told the Daily Mail. If I was him, I would take this to my grave. I don't know why the fuck he's sharing this with the Daily Mail. Like, here's evidence that I'm pathetic and desperate. I do not understand what is he trying to do? Get the word out that she's a gold digger? Oh, wow, that's crazy, man. Thanks for the warning. Why are you sharing this information? From her. I'm not used to having to ask like this for a simple card or help with my rent, especially being furloughed. Any past relationship would have jumped up and cared for me, which is what I like. Even today about going to the gym, instead of you immediately saying you'd be happy to get me something I want, is stingy. Just last week I was going to the bartend and then he said, this is Rose talking to Jack for 20 minutes after he's saved his file. Da-da-da-da. He said the request started to irk him. Really? She gets paid to be rude to rich men? Yeah, I guess he's not into it? I don't know. Well, that was a long-ass article. She's kind of ugly, though. Facts. There's value in novelty. I'm sorry. I can't believe in 2026 we're still doing the post-Kardashian thing. To me, I guess it's more of a spiritual ugliness than it is a facial structure thing. It's just, I feel like I have seen so many women do this, whether or not it fits. You know what I mean? How old is she? Younger than me. She's like 29 or something. Yeah. Are we doing the elbows too pointy style criticism of women? Yes, we are, because you know what? We're mean to men too. All right? Equal opportunity offenders. Fuck off. All right. We're doing donos. Left Prog and the $5. Thoughts on apples? I don't know. I never thought of it. I never thought of it before. I guess I like how they look. You know? Not an alpaca, thank you for the $5. The rot is Protestantism, literally slave morality. Yeah. To an extent, Protestantism does kind of demand of you a degree of slavishness. It's funny because, like, Nietzsche considered all Christianity to be a slave ideology, but if you compare the way it, compels evangelicals versus Catholics, there's such a huge gulf. Sake, thank you for the 10 gifted tier 1 subs. I really appreciate that. I remember the 2024 race and your explicit commentary that Kamala's foreign policy would be pretty atrocious, but you should vote for her anyway. Hashtag consistency. Yeah, there you go. And I did. With how much insider trading goes on pre and post Trump, it makes Bob Menendez's whole gold bar scandal look even stupider and more incompetent. We should have let Menendez stay, honestly. Like, corruption is so fucking legal right now. Why did we even go after him? Honestly. Carlson and Peters, thanks the $5. No, the mechanically MGS2 has been fine. My issues with MGS2 thus far have been that the percentage of dialogue that I have been subjected to that has been interesting has not been enough for me. I want them to dial that the fuck up. You know? And so far, it looks like we're on the up and up right now. Could get better. Could get better. Kane 111, thank you for the $5. Yeah, I'm aware that a judge has voided the redistricting. We'll see how it goes. Kowalski, thank you for the tier 4 sub. The fires were 150 miles away. Now they're 2 miles away. Is Nebraska still on fire? Jesus Christ, it's still on fire. Only going to get worse, man. Jesus. The fires were 150 miles away. Now they're 2 miles away. The Platte River is almost dry. We have 40-mile-per-hour wind. Is Netanyahu targeting me with the weather satellite? Kowalski, you got to go out there. You have to spray water on all your crops to keep them from catching fire. It's the only way. That's crazy. It's not the Democrat weather. Stupid. My congressman just died in office. We looked at that earlier. Millet fucking the Western Wall. Yeah. Is this new? I think he's done this before. He's really getting in there, huh? Is it today? Isn't he actually Jewish? He's trying to convert. That was it. He's trying to convert. He's trying to convert. That's fucking funny, man.
Around ethical campaign. What do you make of Republicans saying that Virginia, you guys getting Democrats
wow.
totally unconstitutional and wrong?
Democrats have attempted and asked Republicans for 10 years to ban partisan gerrymandering. And for 10 years, Republicans have said no. Republicans have fought for partisan gerrymanders across the United States of America, and these are the rules that they have set. And so if the Republican Party wanted to start this, they did this in North Carolina. They drew out 3 Democratic members of Congress in North Carolina. They drew out in Texas. They redid Texas. What they're just mad at is that they have been accustomed to a Democratic Party.
The big win here, really, and it's something AOC understands, more Democrats need to understand it, is that the appropriate tone to take of Republicans is not one of condescension or disagreement, but outright contempt. Something they've more than deserved. Frankly, if the most Republicans, or if all they get away with is a contemptuous tone, then they get off real easy relative to what they've done, relative to what they've produced in this country. You should hate them openly, you know? They deserve it, and also your voters want that. Your voters want you to hate them. The average Democrat right now is not looking for middling, centrist, bipartisan rhetoric.
That rolls over, doesn't fight, and takes everything sitting down. And what they're mad at right now is that we are here in a new day. And we have been asking the Democratic Party to stand up and fight, and now they did, and now the Republican Party doesn't like the fact that they are fighting against someone who actually will stand up for the American people.
Well, I don't think the Democrats are doing that, but...
So if Republicans decide that they would like to revisit a ban on a ban on partisan gerrymandering, I welcome them. We have the bill right here to end this all today, but they don't want to because they like pursuing and continuing to enact an unfair electoral landscape. And so we have an obligation to defend ourselves. Thank you. What were you talking to?
Do you believe the Democratic Party has a right to exist? Lib snark is very woke 1.0 coded. That's true, but I don't want snark. And this was the problem with Hillary Clinton, I think, and a lot of the people around her. It was that they were correct that you should be derisive to Trump and the people around him, but you can't half-ass it, right? The problem with the basket of deplorables rhetoric wasn't that she was wrong. She was objectively right. It was that you're doing it with this snarky, like, oh, they're worse than me tone. We know they're worse, okay? You have to hate them. They're very hateable. You have to hate them. All right. Super chats. Adlet Astria, thank you for the $2. Spare Committee, thank you for the 5. Greg Cucharo, thank you likewise. Really appreciate that. Austin Anderson, thank you for the 2 $10 donos. Can we just take a page out of Reconstruction and turn the Republican governed areas into military districts? If only. If only we did Reconstruction properly. That'd be nice. Still Alive, thank you for the $5. Victorious Gardenosaurus, thank you for the 2 $5 donos. Happy Earth Day, y'all. Happy Earth Day, y'all. That's true. Zach Crow, thank you for the $10. Red states are super illiberal, but deep blue states are too. Here in Massachusetts, the Democratic Party has so much power they don't do anything for the people. They just embezzle money and defund Romney Care. No, for sure. I think I don't think that in deep blue states it even remotely compares to what Florida and Texas are doing. But absolutely, yeah. No, the Democratic Party in many respects, both at a federal and state level, is very unconcerned with maintaining quality standards for their candidates and what policies they propose. Finn Golf and the Arville, thanks the $2. The Everglades is the world's widest, slowest moving river. That's one way of putting it, for sure. The Sphinx and Flop Mingus Republica, thank you for the $5 both. Really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. Victorious Gardenosaurus, thank you for the 2 $5 donos. Join the battle against bland food and plant your herbs and spices today. Yeah, sometimes when people complain about the rice and beans rhetoric, it makes me wonder if they actually season their food. Genuinely, I don't know. I mean, some percentage of my fan base has to be, Anglo. New Reddit post from 2 hours ago. Grand Regent Vosh, please enact another lib purge, I beg of you. This community has been absolutely infested with liberals lately who seem more preoccupied with arguing with everything Vosh says, arguing in favor of J Street appoints NAFO buddies, playing defense for Kamala Dems. It's insane. Oh, great Vosh, please purge us. You have to purge yourselves, okay? You can't get the mods to... listen, I know a lot of it's r/Destiny brigading, but you can't... I mean, maybe not brigading, but adjacency, overlapping, Venn diagramming. You have to do the work yourself sometimes, okay? If they're annoying, you have to downvote them. Type shit. Isn't it good this community isn't a hive mind, can actually argue about stuff? Nope! No, I would no more want to argue every day with liberals who unironically think J Street is good than I would want to argue every day with people who think rape should be legal, There are ranges of acceptable and unacceptable disagreement. These are very well-trodden arguments, The sub deletes everything that's not directly involving Vosh? Yeah, you have to. Otherwise, it turns into a generic lefty sub where every post is just, here's a thing that happened. Yes, it should. The subreddit should, in fact, be made up of people who watch me in the Vosh subreddit. That is important, I think. That being said, the liberals are in fact insufferable. I don't trust anyone who overly focuses on liberals to purge because they aren't socialist enough for your liking. And who's to say they don't consider themselves socialist but have contradictory, inconsistent opinions? I can't talk at all, but that's okay because the point still comes across anyway. You want to purge the liberals? What happened to freedom of speech? Boring, boring, boring. The problem is a lot of these people take themselves too seriously, you know? You can't do that as the streamer unless you want to get absolutely fucking roasted and also be miserable all the time. But a lot of times the people in the comment section, they take it a lot more seriously. Not to say politics shouldn't be taken seriously, but they take the like broader narrative of the community more seriously than the streamer can. You have to have a little bit of a sense of humor about it. Otherwise people go fucking crazy, man. People go crazy. Eesh. Novidus, thanks the $2. Peyton LeBron, thank you for the $5. I did see that. Humble Bumble, thank you for the $5. Really appreciate that. Yeah, so China's social credit system was just one. You know, we made fun of them, but we're going to be improving on their system soon. Still Alive, thank you for the $5. And Joel Tira, thank you for the $5. Yeah, no, we don't even know if Iran has mined the strait. It's just like we prompted them to do something that we had no response to, like at all, basically. 2 hours ago. Hey, Vosh. Hey, everyone. I'm a new Vosh supporter. I just found the subreddit. Why is his sub so liberal? We get some real content. Has Vosh talked about Slay the Spire 2? Yeah, it's fucking goated, is what it is. Yeah, I have. Vosh has grabbed me by the balls in many such cases. Vosh is right. The neo-Nazi to femboy pipeline remains undefeated. Oof. Man. That's crazy. Yikes. It's all psychosexuality with these people, man. Tragic but common story. Maybe one day, God willing, femboy as like an archetype won't be completely dominated by like 4chan neo-Nazi. That'd be pretty cool. Underage mentally ill. Well, a lot of them are groomed. It's just a porn category and nothing else. I wouldn't say nothing else. It's largely one of those. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. But a lot of them are groomed. It's not really their fault. I mean, nothing's anybody's fault, I guess. Type shit. Enjaqueer, thank you for the $5. God bless the Commonwealth of Virginia. Chat, pray for me. I've only got 20 more pages to go in writing my master's thesis. Gonna finally defend next Friday. Nice! Hey, congratulations! Get that dang master's thesis out there. Defend it, absolutely. Get a weight off your shoulder. Very, very nice. I hope it goes well. All right. Am I caught up? Am I caught up? Rhaegar, thanks for the $5. Are you surprised with how Iran has handled this war compared to a month and a half ago? I actually think that Iran has been less aggressive than I expected. The fact that Iran allowed the entire 2-week ceasefire to play out, even though they had no reason to, because America immediately broke several of the key tenets of the peace proposal, is surprising to me. It makes me wonder how much internally the IRGC is beefing with the civilian government. I do hope they get that settled soon, because I truly think that Iran's safest future, you know, the best possible outcome for them is one in which the ambitions of America and Israel are squashed right now. And I think it would be deeply unethical for Iran to back off, especially because Israel is continuing a genocide in Lebanon right now. Not just Gaza, but like, you know, what happens a year from now when Israel decides to expand further? Hearing femboy a porn category really doesn't inspire me to want to dress femme publicly. A couple of pointers here. For one, a guy dressing femme is not, like, femboy is a very specific archetype, aesthetically, fashion-wise, and in the common culture, in the sort of public consensus, which does not reflect negatively on every time a guy dresses in a feminine fashion. Of course, there is overlap, but a lot of that overlap is from people who are not your ally to begin with, right? Like the kind of person who's pro-femboy and calls trans women traps or whatever is probably not going to be like a good advocate for your right to wear feminine clothing in public. You know, they're probably not the greatest allies out there. I meant in the cutesy femboy way. Well, you can go out there and not be a statistic, right? It's not about, you know, you specifically. It's just that there is a anime adjacent obsession with femboy as an archetype in a community online, and that community is like very incel and Nazi driven. And there are Discord servers where they find and groom people into being neo-Nazis / femboys, and it's all very pedophilic and it's bad, but you know, you can break the mold. Break those chains. Go on out there, you know? Just don't wear no goddamn polyester skirts and you'll be okay. Programmer socks are fine though. Good night, Sharky. Thank you for the £2. Really appreciate that. Go see Project Hail Mary? Maybe I will. I saw Perfect Blue in theaters recently. That was nice. I've seen a lot of leftists still use the term trap for trans people. I have not seen that in so long. Like a well-meaning person using trap to describe trans people. I have not heard that in so long. I'm not saying you haven't. I'm just saying like that sounds crazy to me. You know? That sounds crazy to me. They've got to be like really young. Are you 5? It's got to be. Yeah, that's like 2016 era, you know? Very, very different. Very different. In Russia, they basically do. Okay, because Russia is like the fucking epicenter of the neo-Nazi femboy. It's like Russia and Poland are like the place that the overlap happens most, you know? Croatia, yeah. Just looking at art on Twitter. Kowalski, thanks the $5. Can't help but notice the correlation between the ascension of evangelicals and government and global temperatures. Well, they are like the world's biggest advocates for climate change, you know? Parentheses, neg. I have no idea why Poland's viewed that way. We barely have any femboys. It's an archetype. The Polish femboy, that's an archetype, you know? That's an archetype for sure. 100%. Again, worth noting that these people, they're not out there in, like, real life. Okay, hold on one second. No Vosh supporter, why is the sub so liberal? Vosh promised to fix up the Discord and separate it last year, but never did. Not true! I spent a bunch of time, like, drawing up new rules for the Discord. I had multiple big talks with the mod team. The Discord had a hell of a lot, and the subreddit also has undergone multiple purges. Look, if you want to fight back against the liberal scourge, you need to advocate for your positions. But, and I got to be clear about this, don't be an insufferable tryhard. If somebody in the sub is being a liberal, parentheses neg, don't oh, I got to argue. Oh, I got to battle. I'm battling for the soul of the community. Just fucking riff, man. Come on, Jesus Christ! It's like the debate culture. It still persists on Reddit. I don't understand it. Don't you get like embarrassed getting all worked up over this? Yeah, you know, I see liberals in chat sometimes. It happens. It's fine. What do you consider a liberal? Everyone but me. Shut up. Just don't take it too seriously, man. Sometimes, you guys. It's crazy. Oh, fuck. I saw it again. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, my God. I could eat 4 of these a day and meet my calorie macros. Fuck. Is that just peanut butter? It's like sugary peanut butter. That looks disgusting. You're actually fucking... I can't even say. YouTube TS won't let me. Holy shit, the Strokes are stroking it. They're straight up stroking it. American Zionists get the benefits of white privileged people, but talk like they are black people during slavery. Yeah, that's pretty true. 100%, yeah. Absolutely, like without question. Fuck, I want to like leave stream and eat now. I'm like really fucking hungry. Julian's so hot. Wait, Julian from the Strokes, or you mean the Subway Text guy? Him? I don't know about the Strokes. All I know is that one song, Reptilia. That's the song, right? And then he goes, I seem impressed by the way you came in. Tell us a story. I know you're not boring now. I was afraid that you would not insist. You sound so sleepy. Just take this, don't leave me. I said, please don't hold me down if I'm going too fast. Da, 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 da. Do, 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 do. Like that one, right? I got that right? That's from the Strokes. I got that. Yeah? Okay, cool. What's this drop site news outlet? They're Ryan Grimm's. They're like they put out a lot of really good stuff. They're definitely not an outlet that I would go to for the best opinions on Ukraine. I'll tell you that much. But they do put out a lot of good stuff. I think that like for the most part they're one of the best places to get, we'll say, government critical information. But there are blind spots. I don't know why I'm not a huge fan of Ryan Grimm. Dude, being anti-Ukraine just is such a hit to your credibility of your underlying like moral motivators. Because what do you mean you're anti-Israel but you're pro-Russia, the cold Israel, the Israel of the North, winter Israel? You know? I don't, it's like, what are your priorities? Are you anti-empire or are you just anti-Western empire? You know, it's... Why are so many pro-Ukraine people pro-Israel? It's the majority position among liberals and leftists, I think. Anyway, I'm dragging my feet. Tomorrow, what do I have tomorrow? Am I mistaken? I think I'm talking to Dylan tomorrow, actually. Maybe I'm mistaken. Well, we can talk to Dylan. I think after that, we would be maybe some MGS? 2? We'll see what happens tomorrow. All right, everyone. Take care. Love you all. Have a wonderful day. Drink water. And I will see you guys soon. Bye.